And we should be live momentarily. Hello, everybody. She got me.
I got him. Yep, we're back in Trails in the Sky first chapter.
Let us know if we're having any audio issues. Again, our balancer is still new. We should want to deal with any static issues that might be just being a routine thing so we can adjust our methodology. Plus, I don't always hear it on my earplugs. Also, my vision is shot today. I have been going through a couple doctor's appointments about that. Apparently, I had contracted conjunctivitis. Yeah, pink eye affecting my vision now. It never ends.
Time for some shopping. I got it. I'll pick you.
You just know she would get a Pikachu.
Oh, she absolutely will. Celebrate would absolutely be hanging out with a Pikachu.
What do we need? I made up my mind. Thanks.
Consume pasta.
That is delicious.
All those carbohydrates! No!
Let's check it out.
Right here.
Here we go, Estelle.
So yeah, last time we basically beat up a bunch of weird raccoon bunny things at a farm that were causing some ruckuses.
Last time on a reindeer, not a raccoon dog. Yep. Hi, Queen Natalie in the chat. How are you doing today? Outside of the eye infection, actually we're doing pretty decent. I got confirmation that my usual work accommodation for my noise issues has been accepted as soon as I get one more form updated, which I should hopefully be able to do. I'm a bit sleep deprived because the other appointment we got for the second thing for my eye stuff had to be this morning just due to timing, but I went to sleep early and I slept in after we got back, so I should be functional.
A request from the mayor.
Brian and Kokoboshu, it's a good day for me as a metal carbot has been stuck in shipping hell for the past month has just arrived. It's tacky in case you're wondering which one. We've been seeing the metal carbot stuff, and they are being original with a lot of their stuff. Tacky metal carbot. Oh, the Bumblebee looking guy. Sorry, the Bumblebee / Cheetor looking guy.
Oh, that
Yeah,
lady?
Oh, it's a girl?
Yeah, it's a girl.
I did not see that on here.
Which one should I pick? Come again.
Yeah, that looks like a really cool design. Like, if someone wanted to do Cheetor, but with a vehicle mode, that would perfectly be it. Not a fan of the way the eyes are, but, you know, It works well enough. Yeah, this definitely seems to be the Sentai replacement slash Transformers Challenger.
The streetlight code was fighting floor for H with H. Okay, got it.
We're fighting the floor? Is this Ultima?
No.
Why not just write it down instead of that weird sentence?
I hate how you always remember it when I can't. Oh, and now I'm gonna forget it again.
She is the type of person where unless she writes it down, she's gonna forget it.
To be fair, that's my entire family, so... And it's not like we don't retain knowledge, we just have that frustrating level of selectivity. Like how I could remember stuff about the Rockman anime despite not watching episodes from it for years, which was continuously apparent when I was doing those reviews. Okay, that mustache makes him look like a different character, but I can't place from where.
We were looking for a rare mushroom. Speaking of accepting the quest now, so that way, I can come up with...
Come and go to it as you please.
Yeah. Because, the thing about the Trails games is that you can absolutely just go straight to the finish and, do the main story stuff, all that jazz. But,
Or you can take the scenic route.
right, and the in-universe, when you're starting out as a bracer, they say you need to, walk the land and, literally just walk everywhere so you can, observe the land if the paths that you wouldn't before if you were to just fly over everything, you know?
Queen Natalie, so I finally saw Project Hail Mary the other day. It was really good. I highly recommend it. That is a book I have repeatedly flipped through at work. You'd not be surprised to hear how many of them at Amazon sold. And then Andy Weir kind of opened his mouth recently and kind of showed that he kind of didn't understand his own writing somehow. It's like, oh, the situation is caused by political nonsense as the basis in his book, but he says his book is not political. Read the room, people.
Alright, let's send in the mayor's residence because he's also got a job for us.
Yeah. You can always just attribute that to people not knowing how to talk on social media and not really grasping the larger context of what they mean, but, it's stuff that happens. Doesn't mean the book is bad. Or the movie based on it.
He's a busy man. It's
Jake
possible he's
Gyllenhaal is the newest in the line of major star actors who have gotten sent to space and
No,
trapped
that
there.
was Jake Gyllenhaal in that movie.
I'm thinking of a different movie. That's on me.
Ah, if it isn't Estelle and Joshua.
Mayor Klaus.
Oh, Mayor Klaus.
Sorry for the intrusion. We're here on behalf of the Bracer Guild.
Ryan Gosling. What? Okay, that's on me. I repeatedly screw up Ryan Gosling and Jake Gyllenhaal for some reason.
Handling this job in Cassius's place, are you not?
Yes, that's the plan anyway.
Thank you, Mayor Santa.
Sorry about that, Mayor Klaus. I know my father promised you,
Yeah.
but
Not at all. It's only natural for someone of Cassius's caliber to be busy.
Queen Natalie, goddamn, why is that almost every end up being a horrible person? Again, I want to make clear, it's clearly him saying something stupid in the moment and not him being super committal to it. It's wow, you kind of did the moron thing. And yeah, as the chat's now going off, I mean Ryan Gosling. I don't know why I keep screwing up Ryan Gosling and Jake Gyllenhaal. It is another A-list actor thing I do. I don't know, I guess I think they look similar, even though... Okay, yeah, I'm not wrong. They do look similar.
so we're gonna carry in Ismela's crystal? I wonder how much it's worth.
I hear they can easily pass hundreds of thousands, depending on the quality.
Woo! Hey, Joshua, don't pressure me like that.
You're the one who asked.
I mean, Alexis, you can see it, right?
I mean, yeah. Alright, we're off to the mines.
Queen Natalie, I do the same thing with Mark Wahlberg and Matt Damon does. Yes, I did the same thing for a while. It doesn't help that Hollywood tends to cast the same face sometimes.
Be cautious.
Brandon Kokoboshi, the base robot mode of MCB Tacky is the same height as Toy Rise Genesis Gao Gaigar. Her card weapon makes her taller when equipped. Most impressive size and quality, but Tacky's like 1/4 the price. Fair, but that's like, some of that is just due to branding.
Hey.
Also, Toy Rise is a bit expensive.
Jeez, like, imagine like Estelle trying to carry this stick everywhere and not like running into doors with it.
Does it extend?
I don't think it does, but like, if it did. The street is. I'll listen.
A street light named Desire.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, so you need
I went to go south. That's what it was.
You could probably shortcut to the Bright House.
Mhm.
It's a bit farther south
Mhm.
in the way you want to go. Now see? Can you not auto teleport to the house?
Oh, I can, but I can.
You can, you just don't want to.
Ah. Yeah, because like it's such a detour.
Never mind.
Such a nice, cozy, like day out. Not in the game. In real life, it's cold and rainy outside. I hate it.
Queen Natalie, hey Desk question. I know you're not the biggest fan of the UC timeline, but what are your thoughts on them turning the Hathaway's Flash manga/novel into 3-movie trilogy? Good idea? Bad idea? The Hathaway's Flash's events have always been canon due to it being the foundational basis by which things led to F91, Crossbone, Victory, basically any later side UC. It's kind of the large cutoff point and one of the major inflection points for which things could have been made better, but after their end, the trap sprung closed. So finally animating it once they got the rights to it from Tomino that is a thing that happened. I don't have an issue with it. I don't think it should have been 3 films, because that's just dragging out something that has been known about for decades. I think they could have just done it as a TV series, like 12-episode run, to justify a similar length of the process, but lately Sunrise seems to be doing that. We'll do it in a movie format to get more attention on it, similar to how Space Battleship Yamato has been formatted, or Tohoku Shinsha has done some seasons of Garo. They're doing it that way to have the theatrical experience for the audience more than the real value from it. Hell, even Gundam Unicorn got turned into a TV format from the original movie version. So they're clearly planning for the episode count, but it's something that doesn't feel like it really needs it that way.
My turn.
Plus, it's kind of been shown by those films' overdevelopment, as in how long they've been stretching out their make, with all the Gundam projects in between. It's like, kinda didn't need to do that. It's like Rose the Recapture being in the theatrical format did it no favors. Absolutely no favors. So yeah, grander scheme, I have no strong feelings one way or the other outside of if this was a TV series, it would have been done with already, and then maybe it could have replaced G-Quacks.
G-Quacks? G-Quacks?
G-Quackers.
I'm going quackers over here.
Joshua!
Like, the only big reason I can think they've been trying this movie-focused thing is just for a differing form of international distribution where they can throw it in international theaters and rack up more box office points after several Japanese animated series did theatrical event runs that got them major cash, like Demon Slayer's movies, and them being ridiculously successful. I'm just speculating musing at this point. Black Citrus King. Okay, now that I'm done washing dishes, Transformers Challenge of the Universe, which slap is an actual thing. I have no idea what that is. Is that like a crossover with Challenge of the GoBots?
I guess so?
Master of the Universe?
Maybe? I'm not sure. I like Transformers, I'm just not
Let's get moving.
the biggest Transformers fan.
Yeah, we're pretty casual, even though, like, we've been spending a few weeks going through Transformers the Headmasters. And we're like 20-ish episodes in, and it's starting to wear on us simply because of how the series treats the Season 3 cast and transitions everybody out kind of poorly. Like, there's a reason to it, due to how Japan imported the first 3 seasons of the original Transformers G1 series. They were in between distribution lines of the toys at the time, so there needed to be some retention of the Season 3 stuff a little the way in. It didn't mean they had to treat them poorly in comparison to the new characters, but that kind of that's kind of how it came off.
I'm game.
Black Citrus King, Dostan, you brought up Challenge in the Universe for talking about Transformers. I have no idea what Challenge in the Universe is.
Joshua!
Estelle!
This is the end!
Yeah, Challenge of the Universe is not a thing.
That was better than I thought.
You did it, Estelle.
Ladies and gentlemen, besides Shard from Show's Counterattack, who do you think is the worst villain writing-wise? As in, they're a badly written villain, or...
Could this be?
Yeah.
Black Citrus King, you know the whole cheater thing from
Looking for.
earlier. Metal Cardbot? What about Metal Cardbot? Like, I know nothing about Metal Cardbot. Queen Alley, to be fair, how Headmasters and a lot of Japanese G1 deals with the Season 3 cast is kind of bad. Okay, worst villain writing-wise in Gundam. Yeah, badly written villain is anytime they try to repeat the same sort of Char villain scapegoating through the Char clones. Like, there are a bunch of legitimate villainous Char clones, but they will never beat Raoul Le Creuset as the best Char clone, mainly because he is a literal clone who dresses like Char and actually wants to commit genocide. Bad interpretations of them. I'm still on that camp with full frontal nudity because of the cross purposes that just the general problems with Unicorn are in, where getting the Federation out of power is a fucking good thing.
Huh.
And yet the narrative of Unicorn treats Full Frontal, who is being reasonable throughout most of it, as a bigger villain than the actual fucking simp man-child that pilots the Unicorn Banshee and is voiced by Yuri Lowenthal. Riddy, that's his name.
Yeah. Ah, man, what a cute girl with blonde hair and very out of place here. She's probably nothing important. Anyways, hey, father.
Most of not Transformers, Gundam Victory has badly written villains, but then again, that's Tamino. I shouldn't say the Titans are badly written villains, but they're prop villains for Optimus Shiroko, who then has undescribed new type psychic powers that seduces women. Haman Karn is unfairly treated as a villain in Double Zeta, despite her having more complexities that the Zeta, Double Zeta series don't like to address correctly. It's like, there's a list there. Honestly, I think one of the better written villains is the antagonist of F91, because it's all self-deluded egoism.
Oh yeah, that guy?
Yeah.
Crap, what was his name?
Mask?
No, was it? No, I don't think it was that.
Tell me all about it.
Mask.
I have high
Iron Mask. Yeah, it was Mask.
Alright, oh, okay.
Yeah. Mainly because, most of his villainy is an actual delusion, aka they're not projecting their own beliefs of an antagonist onto him like they do with Char everywhere. Like, I saw a copy of the Gundam Origins book at Amazon one night when I was going through stuff. I flipped through it. It was and it had a conversation between Char and Sayla was condemning Char for saying, like, things need to change, and it's like, no, it's your own projection. And then it's like, greater context, no, Char is absolutely correct, and you're condemning him for something that is completely unrelated to what he is saying. So, like, even in Origin, Tamino is still pulling that bullshit.
Alright, it's complete.
As for other villains, I think the Stardust Memory Crew are pretty well written, even though it is more emotional intelligently driven than intellectual intelligence for a lot of its narrative. Like, there is a semblance of logic, but it breaks down the longer you're in that series. 8th MS Team, the main antagonist, has his legitimate reasons, but he's also suffering from an illness affecting his mentality, so, there's mitigating circumstances for him not always functioning correctly in the head. It's like, there's mitigating factors where someone shouldn't be as strong an antagonist in their forcefulness as they should be. And yeah, and G-Reco, everyone's just fucking idiots.
Amalgamine is up ahead.
I've always wanted to check out a mine. I know it's work, but I'm still a little excited.
Just don't suddenly start playing Explorer or anything, okay?
Oh, 0080. There isn't really a true villain in that one versus complicated circumstances.
Found treasure.
Sorry being quiet, like, you're focusing on the chat, and I'm just... Woo! Bombs!
Another random monster in this game that looks like a Pokemon.
Look, Joshua, a Pokemon! I'm gonna catch it!
With what Pokeballs? Oh no, these aren't Pokeballs. These are Pal Balls. I think we're gonna get sued.
We're getting sued?
Yet.
Like, I know that would definitely be, like, a firefight, like have fighting Pokemon on her team.
Yeah, she has the Blaziken look.
Yeah, it's like, her with a giant chicken.
No, I meant just specifically the twin tufts behind the
Yeah.
Blaziken that kind of looked like, Twin Tails.
You like shrooms?
Put the money in the bag.
Put that buddy in the bag, meow!
Let's end this.
I'll show no mercy.
Stupid cats.
Now I'm mad.
Laser Lair, I swear the pawns look like a baby level Digimon, but I'm forgetting its name. I think you're thinking of Pagumon. Yep, Pagumon. Yeah, Pagumon crossed with one of the sheep Pokemon. Or alternatively, like a more sheep-like version of the Nompon from Xenoblade. I still didn't hear anything about this.
I wonder what the old man wants this mushroom for.
A soup?
A mushroom that attracts monsters. Like, can you imagine a horrifying thing, like a mushroom used for evil? Die, sheep, die!
Ready at any time.
Doodlebug 4 is scry your first Trails game. Alexis has been playing the series on and off for a while now. This is the first one she's introducing directly to me.
Yeah, my first Trails game was Trails Through Daybreak because last year I had to visit my family for like a funeral thing. It was like a close cousin or whatever. And I was taking a long train ride and I needed something to play, so I'm like, I heard about this Trail series. Is there? I asked a friend, "Hey, which game would you recommend me start with?" And then they were like, "You could start with Daybreak." And I'm like, "Oh, cool, this seems fun." And then the brain rot set in.
And she got me.
Yeah, and then I got him.
Yep.
I hooked you like I got you hooked on Simple Gear.
Yep. I got her Daybreak 2 last week as a gift for her promotion.
Oh yeah. By the way, plot twist, everyone. I got promoted at work, so.
And then I have been trying to track down the other ones. I have the Cold Steel Quartet for PS4 and 5 on order. I grabbed Daybreak and Horizon myself, and because of the prices of how bad all the other ones are, we're trying to wait, at least in my case with me buying the physicals, we're trying to wait a bit for stuff later down the line. Like whether the Crossbell duology will get re-released in this first style. Simply because the reason I skipped the Trails series when they started to get distributed was because of the angle the original user interface was at. I have a terrible time navigating those types of overworlds.
Alright, quest completed.
Alright, that's another case down.
That mushroom doesn't poison him.
Going on, Crossbell is on Switch and PS4. Yeah, I'm planning to get the earlier games, but we're considering the possibility that the Crossbell arc might get remastered into this style, like Trails in Sky first and second. First is, and second will soon be. Like,
Yeah.
that might be a bit of a wait for me, but because I have such issues with the map view in the earlier... the map view that the earlier Trails games make use of, I figured that would be a better, for my experience with them, if they end up being remastered, than to try them offhand, especially with how expensive the physical editions of them are right now.
Yeah, so like,
Stay alert.
it's not like out of not wanting to play, but if we had a Crossbow release in this style, oh, that would go so hard. And plus, it would allow the Crossbow cast, the Crossbow games to get like a full English dub, because they never, like, the characters from the Crossbow arc would get English dubbed in the Cold Steel games and onward, but the cast in and themselves, like those actual two games, Zero and Azure, didn't receive English dubs.
Hmm.
They were fully Japanese voiced and everything, so that's good.
And Doodlebug 4 is bringing up that Falcom changed the entire Japanese voice cast for Sky Remake, save for Taki Koyasu and Tetsuya Nada, which unfortunately sometimes happens.
Right, and I had to use the bathroom real quick. But
Yeah, it's like, a lot of people are angry about the Persona 4 remake having its English voice cast change, because Yuri Lowenthal, Aaron Fitzgerald, Johnny Yonbosch, and so on have come forward and said that they've tried talking with Atlas and Sega about reprising, and Atlas, Sega has said, no, we're just recasting. And when they brought that up, it became a bigger issue because, well, there are people who like Persona 3. The game franchise didn't really catch on. It wasn't a big hit until Persona 4, and a heavy element of that was definitely the English voice cast, because that was the heyday of when all of those voice actors were not just ubiquitous, but widely... I shouldn't say anything worship, beloved, adored, but they were very appreciated back then through all the projects they were doing, where it was because of their popularity and interest that people saw, hey, there's this credit with them in Persona 4, I like this actor, let's check it out. Because that is a thing that legitimately happens with a bunch of series, where you like an actor in it, you decide to see what they do in it. Doodlebug 4, though Keith still has his other role as Walter. Oh, yeah, we are actually looking at Keith Silverstein's cast listings, because we got to a bit in Tales of Daybreak 2nd, where Walter, Walter the Dire Wolf? Walter the Dire Wolf. Yeah, Walter Cron the Dire Wolf made his appearance in Daybreak 2. It's amazing, specifically Keith Silverstein's record of voice roles, because it's at 599 now. He gets around a lot. But yeah, it was a bigger thing with Persona 4 changing its voice cast for the remake than Persona 3 or some of these others, just because there isn't the same degree of attachment. Whereas some games, you pick them up originally because of the voice cast, or engage with a series because of the actors in it. So losing those in a remake, when you can remake it with the same cast, kind of seems disingenuous. It's like, people might have not liked the Ratchet & Clank movie when they did that a decade ago, but one of the high marks to it really was how they kept the core voice cast with James Earl Taylor, Jim Ward, and I'm blanking on names today. David Kaye. I don't know why I was blanking on David Kaye, since I keep making the David Kaye reference with every cover card we use for our Ratchet & Clank streams.
But yeah, my understanding, the reason why they changed the voice actors on the Japanese side for this game was because they wanted like fresh, younger performers and stuff like that.
To fit the roles in the event the originals, I just couldn't do the voices anymore.
Right. And you know what? Like, this is such a drastic, it's both drastic but also familiar to the first game. And so, you know what? I'm not gonna fault them.
Whereas here it's Stephanie and Johnny, who have been in the industry for clear on 30 years.
Yeah, and I believe that they were the original voice actors. Like, they've always been these.
Yeah, so role retention, always a positive. If you're going to recast, make sure the original knows and approves. Or, like, if there's been a death, like, try and find someone similar. That happens. But it's like, it's not always a bad thing. It's just the circumstances around them where sometimes it can feel tone deaf. Doodlebug, Steph and Johnny only had battle lines to work with in the old Sky game, so the fact they get more than that in the remakes is a big deal. Yeah. And, like, battle lines for voice actors are just not enough. When we were going through Persona 5, we hated that the only time we really were allowed to hear Jun Fukuyama act in the role as Joker was in battle scenes, simply because of the structure of the rest of the game leaving Joker as a silent protagonist. It's like, it's the major detriment to the silent protagonist system, where you should allow their voice actor to act. Doodlebug 4, and the old Japanese cast got to fully voice the characters in the PS Vita Evolution ports.
Yeah, and for, like, the person who played Estelle in the old games was the same one who voiced Chitose in Super Robot Wars V. She was the female protagonist, so that's like a funny mental image in my head.
Granted, that was all... V also showed up in the PS Vita era before that thing completely tanked.
Mm-hmm.
The PS Vita had no games.
Estelle's like, "Aw, the monsters are... There's no more monsters? Aw, I wanted to fight." You really are a magnet for trouble.
Time for ultra violence.
Also,
I know that's a localization change line. It's a good localization change
Yes.
line.
And since we're in the area, time for some troop training.
Bradley Harris. It makes me wonder if the main character in Metaphor Re Fantasio, consistently speaking, was sort of an apology for wasting Jun Fukuyama in Persona 5. Possibly. Doodlebug. Akemi Kanda, Estelle's former Japanese actor and
This is the
a Japanese voice actor, is also Nanako from Persona 4 and Rihoko in Witchblade. God, it's been forever since I've seen Witchblade.
The commercial center, both.
Like, that's a weird one where it's a off-cuff anime adaptation of a American comic book whose greatest level of exposure was a live-action series where the titular Witchblade was just a weaponized gauntlet and didn't take on the full comic form. Like, I know of Witchblade, I don't know anything explicitly about Witchblade. And also, Mio in Fatal Frame. I've never played Fatal Frame, or the sequel. The Fatal Frame 2 remake favors New English and Japanese VAs, though. They kept Ayako Kawasumi as Sai. Ayako Kawasumi is excellent in anything, but she's usually Saber these days.
I forget her name off the top of my head, but Estelle's new voice actress for this game in the Japanese is the same one as Oguri Cat from the Uma Musume franchise.
Gongaro, it's kind of disappointing that Joshua and Estelle are one of the few canonical couples in the franchise. All the other relationships with the protagonists are optional. I mean, at least they have one, but yeah, that's a legitimate issue and critique, considering ambiguous relationships in anime have become more ubiquitous outside of explicit romance series where they end the second the couple gets together.
It's like, there are definitely ones that I think are more canon than the others. It's like a Persona thing.
Yeah, like I was telling Alexis this before we started the stream, but we were, I had brought up in part of a larger conversation how I was hoping, but I wouldn't judge the new upcoming dot hack entry for not having your Haseo and Adelie be together 20 years after their story ended. Like, I want it to happen. I'm not expecting it to. Just because of how bad Japan is with depictions of relationships in their series. Not depicting interpersonal dynamics or people getting together, but showcasing people in actual relationships throughout the narrative. It's, you get together, the point of the plot is done. No!
Whack that guy to death.
Black Sager King, wasn't that the beginning of Sony's super serious games only nonsense, which only left us with Ratchet & Clank as something less serious they have? Depends on timing. Like, there's a lot of Sony executive bullshit that has screwed them over, and a lot of people are not happy about, including their management of Funimation/Crunchyroll that is currently, oh god, what have you fucking done?
I'll be your opponent.
Doodlebug 4, I get the feeling Dot Hack Zero might favor new B8s if the characters are supposed to be reboot versions of the IMOC cast. Reboot in the sense of they share the same character models, not reboot in the sense that Dot Hack Zero is going to be set in 2037, so it's not the original cast, nor is it a reimagining of them. It's a case of the new cast are using character models very similar to the originals. This has been confirmed from CyberConnect in the few interviews they've done on the project. But yeah, they're similar, but completely different. Though they really need to get off the kite clone thing. They've overdone it. Like the fact the only protagonists they really have that aren't kite clones now are like Tsukasa and Hiseo. Of major media, I should specify.
The only real one true trail ship is actually Van Arkwright and his truck. He loves that truck. Like, the character development in Daybreak is watching his beloved pickup truck slowly turn into the family SUV. Like, it literally starts with like a standard pickup truck, but over the course of the game, as he gets more people to help him, he has to get more seats in there, so it becomes
Natalie, I'm just hoping they get rid of the entirety of the Amama conspiracy arc, like just in completely except for the Dot Hack World movie, otherwise completely get rid of it. Yes, please, because it really didn't serve their purposes.
We have to keep training too, right?
Plus the lore contradictions. I really hate the lore contradictions and retcons they tried to play up with that near the end with Emma Wylant. It's like, no, don't make Aura's creation part of this. Just make it so that Mama learned of Aura and decided to try exploiting her. Because that doesn't fix the entire issues of the motivations with the Mama group, but it affects, or it removes the worst aspects of it. Doodlebug Fork, Dak versus had Kaiden, his clones making up over half the roster. Yeah, that's the entire issue.
Ooh.
Bradley Harris, I wonder if writers realize that actually writing relationship past getting together can be just as interesting, if not more, than the lead-up.
Come again.
Yes, it can. Relationships are difficult, and the reason they do that, from my understanding, at least from statements from multiple Japanese authors like Eiichiro Oda and Hiro Mashima, is they do their best to not relate relationships because it can distract from the thrust of the main story they want to tell, and they don't want to get bogged down with issues of depiction they might not be best at mitigating in the moment with everything else going on, which, okay, fair. But there are also series where it has relationships and relationship building as a larger focus to them as part of their plot, and so they need, like, some form of progression beyond, hey, we're destined to get together, just because you need to show and present that they do actually deserve to be together.
Tell me all about it.
Because, like, I know a lot of people have great issues with certain ships in anime where it doesn't feel like those terms are really understood. It's just like, it's the ship a person on the series development wanted, so it was forced through, and then it didn't have any validation, and thus you either double down on it constantly or you just don't address it anymore. And neither of those really work. Like, the fact that Ryu and Akiko, despite being a subplot in Kamen Rider Double, actually feels like it had better progression along it simply because, ironically, Absol's Focus movie saw them having issues with their relationship caused by Akiko's own insecurities. That would have been a better thing to focus the narrative on, because Akiko is an immature, incompetent person versus the competent people that she is surrounded by. And, you know, having her better develop would have been an asset. Black Sager King. Tight Kubo is kind of the same thing. Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, I'm not necessarily against Orihime and Ichigo getting together, but
it was lampshaded, but
it wasn't, like, focused enough upon, so when it happened, it felt like a... Huh?
Not helped by the whole time skip nature of, oh, and Ichigo and Orihime got together. Like, if there had been a bit more interim establishment, I think that more people would caught on that's what he was doing than assuming it was going Ichirukyo.
The children yearn for the mines.
Yeah.
Monsters. Could be trouble.
Golden Girl, in regards to good relationship writing, I haven't seen it personally, but I've heard good things about Rokudo and Benio from Twin Star Exorcist because they actually show their relationship develop. Yeah, because most things specifically shonen authors do is they see little signs, but then the signs are found to be inadequate or they're just missed. I think Ichihime had a bunch of tip-offs, but because they never really did anything with them in Bleach, that's part of people's grievances there. I don't agree. I feel like, oh, they make a cute couple, and I'm fine with that. I can see some of the Rukia grievances, even though they really didn't tease them being romantic. But you know what? Fanfiction, do what you're thinking there. One Piece Oda's been explicit and he's not shipping, so whoever wants to do whatever, find that way.
Childish as always.
But yeah, developmental relationships are definitely what's needed. And not just like show two people interacting, show a reason why they would be together. It's like, have them be complementary to their dynamics, have them both have issues being around the other helps address, be supportive. Not be a traitorous bitch secretly working for their parents. Black Centurion. The Bleach anime removed all of Orihime scenes and replaced them with Rukia for some reason. Which probably didn't help that relation.
I think it's because Studio Pierrot, the people who actually animated Bleach for the longest time, had an agenda, and that might have also helped it, because I knew, like, Bleach was a popular manga, yeah, but a lot of people saw the anime only, and then that led to a, well, you know, an askewed vision.
An intellectual disconnect.
We're in the mines.
Going girl, and the Twin Star Exorcist thing. And also having the parent that actually be a couple rather than have their eventual child be a one-night stand. They're actually together because they knuckled down to have their prophesized child. Oof.
I'm half expecting Donkey Kong to just show up out of nowhere with some bananas.
But Diddy Kong was the kart racer.
Whee!
Bradley are still bitter about CCIC. I mean, it's hard to not be, considering she is the biggest traitor in the series with respect to Lelouch, and yet she's one of several characters that never have anything they do that's bad be held accountable to it.
It's like...
So it's not a case of
Satisfied?
we're against Lelouch and her getting together. It's the least logical option. It only exists canonically, As in, the canonical reason for it existing is to get Lelouch out of the story. It's not because they have feelings for each other, because canonically, CC can't feel romantic affection for another person.
Also, I kind of draw the line at a person like withholding critical need to know information from their supposed paramour. Like, oh hey, C2, it would have been very cool of you if you said to Lelouch at any point, oh by the way, your mom's alive. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those.
Add in the fact that she was never intended as a planned part of the narrative, and it's not so much I'm holding a grudge, but the narrative was screwed to promote her into this role when it wasn't for a full decade in the series' history.
Like, here's my whole thing at the end of the day is, like, if a ship sails that's not my preferred ship, okay, I can live with it, but you gotta at least justify it so I can at least look back and go,
You can't create it through retcon.
right, it cannot be a retcon existence.
Because for a full decade, it was Callan. Like, that's not even something arguable. You look at the extra canonical information, it was very clear it was
On
Callan.
behalf of Mayor Klaus.
Then the movie timeline happens, and they flip it not because they'd always intended and just screwed up all the
I see.
intermediary details. No, they just did it to get rid of Lelouch.
Pretty impressive for youngsters like you.
And so there's a bigger grievance there because the way they removed Lelouch from the story was to continue all the scapegoating from the rest of the series, which everybody had grievances with. So the ship off with CC is not necessarily a hatred of the ship, but it's a symptom of a larger problem with how characters are utilized in the series, and the intended story and the intended results are completely at odds with each other.
Something you get to see every day, I'll tell you that. Kept it nice and close this whole time.
And plus, Lelouch going off with CC is another thing that defames his character in the movie timeline because it causes him to abandon the people he cares about, which makes him even more like his father, who he should actually hate. And he does hate.
But when you see one this big, it almost always gets sold as high-priced jewelry. Be sure to get it to the mayor in one piece.
Right.
Tiny rock.
Yeah, Golden Girl, if she was intended to be Lelouch's significant other, she would have been coming over to his side and gone against Charles and Marianne, screwing them over. Yeah, especially since she is on their side, but keeping Lelouch alive as a contractor to see if he can just kill her in the interim, up until the point of the Ragnarok connection. She is still supporting,
Like I'm holding a fairy.
like, she's being her own agent.
Look at this, Estelle Whimsy.
It's incredible. Look, Joshua, look.
So just narratively, that doesn't work.
You really should cut it out. It's not gonna be pretty for us if you drop it.
Aw, you're no fun. Well, that should do
In
it.
the original game, like, she was holding it in her hand and started running around in circles like a weirdo, like...
Alrighty, boss.
And considering the original art style and perspective, that's probably the only way to depict whimsy.
Yeah.
I'm counting on...
What's wrong?
That's odd. Something in the air.
The air shifted?
Oh no, is the canary died?
Whoa.
Looks like it stopped. Was that an earthquake?
No.
Was she
Part of
trying
the
to guard
tunnel caved in.
her head, or was she hurt by the vibration?
She was trying to guard her head.
They might have hit a soft
And the
spot in
part of the tunnel caved
I
in.
should go check it out.
Hey, Shifai, so this is this a new game, or
Uh,
Tales? This came out last year?
Yes, so Trails in the Sky first came out last year. It is a remake of the original Trails in the Sky game that came out all the way in 2004. And it was designed specifically to get new people into the series. Because when you're 14 or whatever, some games deep into a franchise, it gets harder and harder for people to jump on board.
Just because of the original game's age. And
Right.
especially in the West, where all the Trails games before this have had massive delays in their distributions.
Right. So when Falcom decided to that they were gonna remake Sky, they basically the head of the team Kondo was like, okay, make it fun, keep to the core of what makes Trails in the Sky such a beloved experience in the first place, and just draw upon all the experiences that they've learned up to that point, and the result is this.
Yeah. And the fact that this is a massive dozen-game-long multi-character storyline, as in you have multiple protagonists, multiple settings, multiple pieces of details and information, it's that is ambitious, and I applaud that.
Yeah.
It's what Dot Hack was back in those days, and Dot Hack preceded this arc of Legend of the Heroes that is formed through the Trails series. But, Dot Hack stalled, well, even though Falcom is smaller, they've been able to consistently stay at it. So, you know what? Applause. Applause.
Yeah, it's and the fact that Falcom has always been a smaller team, oh my god. I was trying to, hit these goons.
I won't let you.
Especially because from what Alexis has been showing me, Falcom does a similar asset reuse thing as CyberConnect does. Though CyberConnect has a larger staff simply because they pay their bills through doing licensed games a lot of the time. So the fact that they can stay funded and do all this with a smaller team, again, applause, applause.
And they also have a newer game coming out this year called Kyoto Xanadu. Or no, Tokyo Xanadu. Or one of the two. These guys are workhorses. They're just out here trying to make games that they think are fun, and I love that.
They're like SNK, but they haven't been bought out by a soulless monster.
Yeah, exactly. It's that spirit of independent game making where they're just we're making a game that we think is cool, and it's another thing I love about the Trail series is that no matter how crazy the world gets, and no matter what kind of evil forces come out of the woodwork to make the world go wrong, it's through meeting random individual people that causes great change to happen. You know what I mean?
Kyoto Xanadu is the upcoming Xanadu.
Yeah, that's the one.
I won't let you.
Let's go. Done.
Too slow.
Joshua, do it.
Estelle.
Going on, and I love that they didn't just retroactively only bring the Master Quartz mechanic to this game, because those were expressly made for the Engine 2 onward from Azure. So it's preceding technology, so it shouldn't exist yet. That makes sense.
Yeah. I actually think it's better for that because it allows the core the mechanics to speak for themselves. The reason I love the Orbman system is that it's sort of like the materia system from 7, only everybody is a bit more specialized in a certain field, and because of the different weapons they wield, not everybody's going to be fit for every role. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't make it so that your party options are completely selective, like 7 and 8 had. No, they have their own roles.
When I was finished with Trails in the Sky, my party was Estelle, Joshua, a later character we'll get to who is the healer, and another party member who is the long distance fighter.
Mm-hmm. So balance it out. You got the tank, you got the speedy fighter, you got the healer, you got the ranged guy. That makes sense to me.
Yep.
Say it didn't happen. This is bad news. I gotta get my crew to safety.
Leave that to us. We can help.
But what?
Monster hunting's what we do best. Besides, time is of the essence.
You're right. In that
Also,
case,
Estelle, right, is just probably the perfect protagonist. In that like what her flaws are not the kind that like weigh down the narrative, because you know how sometimes in a story like they'll just beat a point home like over and over again that you get sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
But with Estelle, she's upgoing and upbeat, but there's a lot of things that she's like either ignoring or like not fully grasping the severity of the situation. You know what I mean?
She's a combat competent Usagi Tsukino.
Yes.
Thank you. And
That is actually the best way to. That is like. It's like you're. It's not. It's correct, but you shouldn't say it.
I'm out of line, but I'm right.
Yes.
At the very least, in those terms, Usagi's incompetent in combat because she's the party healer.
Here we go. Together. Let's end this.
You're mine.
Stun.
Too slow.
And also just seeing Joshua and Estelle bounce off each other is like super adorable, because just when Estelle's about to go like off like being in the whimsical wonderland, Josh is right there to like be like, nope, you're not, don't, like to rein her in. So good.
Yeah. Bradley asks, oh wow, speaking of Usagi Tsukino, I've taken the plunge into the Sailor Moon series with the Viz dub of the 90s anime. It didn't take long to see why people love Sailor Moon so much. Like, even I watched it when it was being aired in the 90s. Specifically the Toonami dubs of the later seasons. Like, the Deathbusters that's peak.
And also the fact that the author of Sailor Moon and the author of Yu Yu Hakusho are happily married is like so cute.
Joshua, do it.
Honestly, for a 90s anime, I think the writing of Usagi and Mamoru's developing relationship, even though it's kind of squicky because their ages, was one of the better examples of that through anime. Because you know they're destined to be together, but they have ups and downs in the development of that.
Keep it up.
Honestly, the biggest hang-up with a lot of that series is just the reality that Crystal Tokyo is the future, so, you know, it kind of feels like, oh, the sailors either fail at some point and that's their bad end timeline better option, or more nefariously, they let it happen, which is, like, kind of a hang-up for some people, as there's not an exact answer that will resolve that appropriately.
I'll change the tide of battle. I'm going all out.
Doodlebug, Estelle's VA for is Usagi in the Viz dub. Japanese or English? Because
Oh yeah, Stephanie Shea.
Stephanie Shea took over.
Oh my
Usagi.
god, yeah.
I see that. So I am even more correct with the comparison.
Somebody mod this game to Joshua's tuxedo mask.
No, Johnny's Artemis in that.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully we get to him in this stream, but there is a character that likes to use roses and throw them around like a weirdo.
Black Century Game, didn't they keep rewriting history at certain points? Kinda.
Like, Sailor Moon. Woo! Like the DuckTales theme, but it's Sailor Moon. Crab people, crab people.
Bradleyers, oh my god, Estelle even has twin tails. No. Estelle does not have pigtails. She has twin tails. Now you might be asking yourself, what's the difference? Pigtails are braided. If it's like just up in 2 bits and they're not braided, they're twin tails, not pigtails. It really does require the braid. Because there are people with a single pigtail and it's braided. Like Ron Masao Tome, for example.
I also like the stun mechanic that they introduced in later games because it's not like annoying to get to that point. You remember playing through 13 and like how much of it in the like the stagger system was?
Yeah. Stagger should be a bonus damage thing, not required to do meaningful damage in the first fucking place.
Yeah, because the whole thing with the stun gauge is like you're trying to steal your enemy's turn. Like that's what it really is there for. You're trying to prevent them from having moves, you know?
Leave it to me. It flinched.
Follow my lead.
Got
My turn.
Brian and Kokuboshi, Twin Tails also let you become a magical girl. Specifically, if your name is Nanoha Takamichi, whom Estelle also looks like.
I mean, Estelle becomes an adopted mom at some point, so... Yeah, the Trail series can also be boiled down to, like, we are adopting sassy lost children that need help.
I'm assuming that's a side thing in one of the later games, not just third, or is that a plot point from second?
A plot point that comes up in second.
Mm.
It's actually very adorable. It's like one of those, oh my god, this lady has so much heart to her. It's like, it's just so sweet. Are you trying hitting it really, really hard?
Joshua.
Yeah. I'll be your opponent.
Frickin' crab people.
You're mine.
Let's go.
Let's keep it up. Victory is ours.
Phew, that was a good break.
Hang on, we're on our way.
Like, I think in every Trail saga there was like a plot point where there's a sassy lost child and it becomes a found family situation.
Which, repetition of a narrative trope isn't necessarily a bad thing as long as they're not executed the same ways.
No, it's never executed the same way twice, but it's just funny how many times it happens. It's like,
How's this?
I'm not going to be an adopted dad. No way, that's not happening. That's not... Oh, well, dang it, here we are.
Leave it to me.
Rico Aries, did I miss the wee moment with Estelle
Oh, yeah.
and the crystal?
Yeah, you missed it.
Keep going.
Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs? Can you feel it?
Joshua.
Got it.
Now
Hibiki Tachibana's worst enemy.
What, crabs?
Cancer. Magic cancer.
Oh, oh god! I can't wait for when Itself learns the Hadoken.
Leave it to me.
John 556, Cold Steel 3 and 4 have it too, not saying who. Yes, please, and thank you, because Alexis has not gotten the 3 and 4 yet. The fact that one larger character narrative lasted across 4 games. And, like, intended to be separated as 4 games instead of 1 game split into 4.
Right. Every time she says hurricane, I keep imagining her, like, saying, get her hurricane or something. Or tomahawk hurricane.
I'll change the tide of battle.
Despite the staff.
Yeah. But what is an axe but a staff with a blade at the end of it?
I'm going all out. Fire!
You see, the true point of all this is that once we get out of this cave, we'll finally get our first gym badge, and then 7 more, and we'll take on the Elite Four.
John 556, also not going to spoil it, but my most hated Trails character is Rufus. I'll probably have context to that at some point.
Oh, I can kind of see, like, if by hated you mean, like, you hate him as, like, a individual, and yeah, how do I describe him? Imagine Schneisel, but if it was more friendly.
As in, it had actual social skills to cover up for his sociopathy.
Yes.
So basically, Goro Akechi.
I mean, like, Cold Steel is like, you open up the hood and there's Code Geass under there.
Yet another series that is similar to Code Geass that apparently is better received than Code Geass. Again, for as long as that went on, everything I brought up as a hindrance of the show is a validated complaint internationally. Resurrection did bomb. The movie timeline has been a series of financial bombs. They're not appreciated. The decisions made in them are rejected. Not just a me thing. At the very least, that looks like it's a well-built mine.
It is a well-built mine. It's again, another thing about Trails that I love is that when characters have moments of stupidity, it is solely, like, character-based and not the plot made them stupid. You know what I mean?
Or rather, the plot is written so well that any moments of idiocy from them feel like it's natural to the characters.
Right.
But it's hard to pull off. Everybody gets the idiot ball now and then. It's just a matter of how you recover from it.
Right. Like, in the Crossbell games, you can make the main character Lloyd Bannings, like, either the savviest detective ever, if you know what the right answers are, or he can look like a complete goober because he keeps getting things wrong, you know?
Nah, don't worry about it. We just did what we thought was right. It's all part of our training.
Speaking of which, what are you going to do about the monster nest underground?
Ah, we can handle something like that. We'll probably just use some
John,
explosives to
now
close
for
it.
something closer, Alexis, what do you think about the Star Door with Ren's backstory being in hell?
Oh god, that was trauma. So, I will I was getting into that last night, Dave. But Stardor 15 is an infamous extra event that happens in Trails in the Sky 3rd, where to access it, you have to go to an optional area in the game that is literally a manifestation of hell, and then it's all the way at the bottom, and what you find is the most horrifying, horrific account of abuse that I've seen in a game, and it's at the hands of this small child who, oh god, Ren's been through a lot. Oh jeez, my baby.
If things get really out of hand, we'll ask the guild.
Okay, Doodlebug, I keep deleting your posts with cause. Knock it off. DC Douglas controversies. Yeah, a lot of those are invalid. I have seen them, and it's just fan bullshit. We're not dealing with that.
See? It's right here.
Like, I've not engaged with the DC Douglas list of nonsense for a while. Last time I saw any of that, it's like something that was very clearly disproven, and he had the notes. I'm not validating that any further.
Come on, let's get going.
Unbelievable.
You almost gave me a heart attack, kid.
Alright, that wraps up everything. Oh hey, I bet the crystal will look even prettier in the sunlight.
Please keep it safe in your pocket.
Not the notes, the receipts. Gah, cannot talk today.
How do you function as adults?
Rico Aries, and yet despite how awful the Resurrection timeline is, they still put it into Super Robot Wars. We need Code Geass, Code Red in the next SRW. It's because it's the most recent material. SRW, as of the last several entries, always seems to go for, even if they put in retro things, they try to use the most modern version of an IP. That's why they keep getting stuck in Char's counterattack stuff with UC Gundam, because for that era of those characters, that's the last relevant thing they did with them. Or how they just default to Gundam Seed Destiny stuff for the Gundam Seed cast, just for the expanded roster, instead of ever coming in anything with the first series, because they usually go post-series stuff if they want to touch on Destiny stuff, because so many people get the larger arc of Destiny wrong, so they have to make clear, no, Shin was the dumbass being stupid in that series.
The clock tower has quite a history. I'm impressed.
Speaking about the tragedy of war is never easy. But what matters is the strength to overcome that tragedy and to build a peaceful world thereafter. Oh?
We're here to deliver the goods, but, are we interrupting something?
Not at all, Estelle, not at all. Allow me to introduce you. This is Josette. She's a student at the Genis Royal Academy.
The Genis Royal Academy.
Yes, I've heard of it. It's a boarding school located in the Ruan region.
That is correct. Pleased to meet you.
I'm
My
sure she
name
won't
is
be
Josette
important.
Har.
I'm Estelle. Nice to meet you, Josette.
I'm Joshua. Pleased to meet you.
Actually, these two are bracers. The two of them are handling a personal request for me.
Bracers? The freewheeling, peace-loving proud knights who never bend to authority? This is like a dream come true. To think I would have the honor of meeting real-life bracers.
Sheesh. A reaction like that's gonna make me blush. By the way, is it okay if I call you Josette?
Yes, please do.
What brings you here, Josette? Do you know the mayor?
Today was our first time meeting, as a matter of fact. I've been doing research on the important cultural properties of various regions. I knew he must be busy with his duties, but I couldn't help but ask for a brief audience with him.
Gold, you like how Super Robot Wars Y made Shin into Domon's protege. And it's like kind of tried to unite the narrative of the three palm attack users.
Although, I will say, one thing I love about Y...
Should have had more Domon and Callan.
True, but I love how Suletta was like the little sister whenever she saw something cool happen, and she's like, shit, can you do the second hot 10 Kyoken? And shit's like, no, I can't do that.
the Destiny actually can do that. It's overloading the Palma Falcione emitters to create beam blasts.
If anything.
But like then when the Sekihao level of Tenkoken happens, she really wants Shin to do that, and then she's like, "What? How do you do that?" And then Luna just,
He's literally standing right there.
and then it's like foot and mouth, kid.
Estelle, since you're here, would you mind showing Josette what I asked you to bring?
Golden Garo. By the way, Alexis, did you know about the connection between Josette and Armorica? No, I do not. I can't remember.
Sure.
Don, also, Alexis, I love seeing your snippet reactions for the Trail series. It reminds me of when I first discovered the series. Also, just hope you're enjoying it.
Why?
Oh,
I mean, I'm guessing you came in late. I picked up my own copies of a bunch of them. I have Cold Steel on order. I picked up Horizon and Daybreak as well. I'm waiting for some of the interim ones to either get redistributions or remakes.
Of the citizens of Roland.
Because the Crossbill Saga is ridiculously stupidly expensive, and the 5th game in the Cold Steel line that has a different name is also stupid expensive. And I prefer physical editions where possible, even if a digital one is more available and cheaper.
Her Majesty will soon turn 60, and this.
So yeah, there's a queen. The queen of the kingdom's like birthday is coming up. He's gonna be turned into a nice young 60.
Wow, a gift for the queen.
That's wonderful.
Also, in a rare twist, the queen is not secretly evil.
Gasp.
I know, it's crazy.
We citizens of Liberal have always been under the care of Her Majesty. Even regular airship travel is all thanks to the
Like,
generosity. of
rarely
our
in
family.
the Trails game so far are the bad guys the typical bad guys. If that, like in JRPGs, it's usually like the king or like the queen or whatever that's the bad, or the church that are evil. No, it's never any of those. It's like the people who are either right below them or those who slither in the dark that are trying to manipulate events in order to like cause great calamity. You know,
Well, it's still in that orbit.
right? It's still in that orbit, but it's never saying
Whoa, this
these
is
people.
incredible.
Like, it's not saying it.
It's people who want power.
Right? Yes.
Joshua, can you
Which isn't
believe it?
quite the same, but it's an appropriate exploitation of those
Not
tropes.
to mention you were spinning it around like a toy.
Hey, you don't have to tell them that.
And so, like, sometimes subversions are really good, and sometimes people don't understand the point of the subversion.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Like, this is one of those rare franchises where, wait, I'm siding with the church in a JRPG. What?
Now, if
Yeah.
you don't mind,
It's weird when that happens, and I think people's brains get trained in different ways, so they expect a trope to always go a certain way once they see it enough. Like, people being obsessed with sympathetic villains recently when, no, they're not actually contextually sympathetic, or depicting them as sympathetic actually ruins a greater narrative. There are certain
I'm rather excited.
circumstances where you can have a sympathetic villain. Sometimes someone viewed as a sympathetic villain was never a villain at all, and the hero of the narrative was the bigger asshole, and sometimes it's people completely misconstruing their behaviors. It's frustrating because it shows a level of media illiteracy. And again, with me and media illiteracy, it's not everybody. Sometimes you just don't see the forest for the trees until someone tells you about this other interpretation. Hell, the Ruby fandom is ridiculously bad at that, simply because they trust the word of people who were never part of the writer's room and say they have more intimate knowledge of the process and development of the series and what was changed and discarded for the larger overarching narrative than the people who actually fucking wrote it. Like, there was a thing that happened earlier this week with, people asking Monty Ohm's Widow questions about original developmental ideas for the series, and them taking them completely the fuck out of context. Specifically about the character Cinder Fall's origins, and what they revealed was they were more supposed to be like Raven was initially, but that didn't work for the narrative because trying to make Cinder secretly a sympathetic villain wouldn't have worked past Volume 3, and the person who was saying this was someone who works on Volume 3, but not in a creative writing role.
Huh? What are you saying?
And those unused plot elements that they were saying were part of Cinder's character was actually the foundational basis for Raven Branwen, aka Yang Xiaolong's mother's characterization. So it's like, it's there, but the initial character that was claimed to be Cinder wasn't Cinder. Cinder was developed completely independently of that, and they reused those plans for a different character later. So it's just kind of annoying that people are claiming, wow, this is something completely ruined Ruby, when this is something they didn't do because it would have been the narrative it would have made the narrative they were building worse, because Cinder, even back in the early volumes, was an unsympathetic character. And she needed to remain unsympathetic because of the events she set in motion, because after she did those things, then it becomes a cool story, still murder thing, where trying to say she's sympathetic constantly actually causes more problems. There were ways to write her as sympathetic. Those windows have long passed.
Hey, Estelle and Joshua.
Are there any bargains?
HJ Fies, I kind of heard about that. She put stuff on her Tumblr, I think. Yeah, that's kind of where a lot of that keeps coming from. And it's like, they keep using Montiom's widow as a source for this, and it's like, a lot of that, you know what, it's been a decade, and we don't doubt that she had insight into this, considering a lot of these ideas originally came from Monty, but she wasn't part of them iterating and developing on it, or actually writing it, which was always Carrie and Miles doing the heavy lifting on that, as Monty himself wasn't a writer, he was an animator. So completely invalidating them working with Monty and knowing of those deeper plans and how they developed them together, that is the toxic part of the fandom on that. Just because they don't like the decisions Miles and Carrie made after Monty's death, even though we have a case of literal death of the author affecting just any interpretations attached to that. And it's like, I know I've been bringing up Ruby a lot in streams the last few months, but it's like, it's just my general frustration on that, because I'm Ruby casual with that entire franchise, and yet I keep being baffled by people in that fandom being ridiculously hyper-obsessive about that. And some of that I understand. Our own voicing of grievances with creators are there, but they're about story decisions that don't make sense for the characters, versus people being irritated at story decisions not going the way they wanted to. Like, our grievances with Code Geass are, these characters keep getting screwed over in ways they really shouldn't be, not, this story is completely invalidated.
Sure, here you go. Sorry.
Rico Aries, yeah, after the fall of Beacon, there was no way for Cinder to be a sympathetic character. Exactly, and Monty's wife was part of developing Volume 3. She was apparently heavily involved in Volume 3. She would know that as much as anyone else there. So if what she described the original plan for Cinder was, it was very clearly, it was discarded early on, even before Montiom's death.
New case. Catch that cat.
Black Century King. Plus, because I'm somewhat spiteful towards certain Raven Branwen fans, I'm saying this here and now, I prefer Cinder getting a happy ending over Raven. Depends on how you view happy ending. It's like, Raven and Yang are pretty still heavily estranged, even though was a brief shift in their dynamic. They're clearly still not part of each other's lives, but there's something there that wasn't before. It's like Yang and Raven's interactions in Volume 5 were more moving Yang's character forward and resolving more of her abandonment issues so she could more easily accept Blake back, considering Blake never left her intentionally but had a job to do. How they develop the remainder of the summer plot that has been left to spin in the wind for so long will probably decide that more for people. It's like if Raven had a good reason for leaving, that would be different than just abandoning her to go back to the tribe, or Raven more prioritizing the responsibility of her tribe than the responsibility to her family, which seems to be the dramatic crisis there. Not to mention their ideology differences.
Cat.
Golden Girl, my view on what Ruby would have been, like, if Monty was still alive, is that the only thing that would have changed is the fight scenes would have been more bombastic than they were. Issue 5, I feel like Ruby will never get a proper conclusion, or it'll try to rush one if they do get more volumes. Volume 10 is still in production. That's as far as I know about that. They still got Volume 10 in the can. Whether they do 11 and 12 or the presumptive full plot arc is anyone's guess at this point. Might depend on how Volume 10 is received. And Black Central King, and I do hate the fact that fans let Raven get away with her leaving her family and going around killing people and acting like she's above everyone, acting like a hypocrite. Again, it will depend on how they develop the lingering pieces of Summer and just Raven's disillusionment with everything versus the war with Cinder. It's like, there are ways you could still resolve that amicably, but still in the cool story, still murder stuff. But I think just, like, a lot of the hate towards Raven is just because you're through the proxy of Yang. And I'm not as aggressive on that, just because people being stuck in the proxy view of Yang are how a bunch of the hate towards Blake is founded upon. Not upon things Blake actually did wrong. And yeah, Raven's personal ideology of strong survive, weak die is messed up, though you also have wiggle room in that still. It is undeniable she's a bitch, though. Just like, is she neutral, or like neutral evil, where she's out for herself and those under her purview, or is she actually malicious in her actions? And from the time she was on the show, you don't really get pure malice out of her. But yeah, I get it. It's another case where the series needed more time than it has ever been allowed to have in animated form because it rushes character stuff. That has been a problem since Monty started the series. That has been a continuous thing even in seasons after that where they don't have the time. And honestly, that was kind of an issue with... I'm in that minority where I dislike the seasons of the show where Monty was the head of it and still alive, than the ones where Carrie and Miles took over more after his death, because I felt more time was wasted on frivolities that weren't functional to the story or the characters in those early seasons than was performed in the later ones, where Miles's tendency towards story arc and Carrie's tendency towards character writing could more balance things out. So, Monty having not died, I'm not certain that his overriding decisions as the series creator might not have continued fumbling things, because seasons 4 onwards have always been paying for the mistakes made in the first 3 seasons, in specific towards establishing and clearly presenting character arcs and plot lines that they've had to reverse engineer differing focuses on. I think that's kind of why they had to redo Season 1 entirely as Ice Queendom, just to fill out some of that stuff.
I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, I'm kind of like ruminating. Go ahead.
We just ranked up in the Bracer rank, in the Bracer Guild. We're now Junior Bracer rank 8. Poison Blade.
I'm guessing this is just one of the side things where you don't necessarily need to rank up.
Well, okay, if you play this game naturally, you will rank up to a certain level, but the game encourages you to, like, be the ultimate bracer, because as you get higher and higher, the rewards, like the crafts, like the weapons or orbans stuff you get better and better, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Flex Intriguing also doesn't help that Yang's fans see her as the ultimate symbol of empathy and forgiveness, which, no, she did not forgive Raven what she's done, she just wished she didn't do all her nonsense. Yeah, which are differing things. Not helped by the outright toxic side of the fandom, where they like to... How do I make this PG-13 for the stream? They like to Stepford her.
Probably. That's the difference.
Like, make her more waifu-y than she actually is.
As in, Stepford waifu, yes.
Yeah.
Like that kind of idealized homebody, anime background waifu for their preferred husbando, and no, she is completely straight and interested in husbandos, and when because they actually hate the plotline where she has been clearly presented as a lesbian the entire series. Or at least baseline bisexual, and it's like, no, that's creepy, that's like, oh, the gay plot with her and Blake where only Carrie and Miles is writing, and we can disregard what Aaron and Barb have said, and then it's like, no, idiots, it's in the fucking manga. It's in the manga before, well, years before you say they actually started writing it. It was not a Volume 9 retcon. Those manga predate Volume 5.
Alright. I'm going to get introduced to some beloved side characters.
Huh? And you are?
Are you the reporter from Liberal News?
So yeah, a lot of that is just fandom stupidity.
How did you know that? I love a good interview, but I ain't a fan of people getting nosy about me.
Black Century King, I've seen that a bit more towards Blake than Yang, but yeah, that's gross. It is, and it depends on which one audience, the specific fan doing that like to change it for more. Like most of the times they do it for Blake, it's to like get rid of the SJW bullshit aspects of her character, even though Blake is a member of an oppressed minority. The series makes clear the Vaughnists are an oppressed minority. How do you not get this narrative? Or Blake was unintentionally turned into a cult member when the rights organization she was part of got taken over by less moral people than her father, and she didn't see it because she'd been part of it for so long until she actually realized, oh wait, I'm in a cult, I need to leave.
Is this some kind of sick joke? You little brats are bracers.
And then, of course, she has her trust issues throughout the first couple seasons, which are valid because of that.
Fair young lady. Where? All I see is a little brat. If the truth hurts, you could at least start by dressing the part.
This is my combat outfit! And what exactly does dressing the part mean? Unbelievable, this old guy.
Old guy? I'm still in my 20s.
Shave, then!
Anyway, the truth is, we are in fact bracers. We're here on behalf of the guild.
There's a line that a character says in the Cold Steel games where it's like, yes, I'm approaching, I'm gonna be 25 soon. I can feel the approach of death coming, or something.
If you
I came here to have a good time, and I'm feeling so attacked right now.
Getting a replacement will take time.
Yeah, it's like, I can't relate. Some people naturally look younger. Some people start to look a certain age and then just don't age.
This old guy's really something.
Take it easy. I'm Josh.
Estelle was about to
This
flatline
here
this
is
guy.
Shinta. May I have your name?
Niall Burns. Top-notch reporter for liberal news at your service.
HFIs, I really need to rewatch Ruby because I keep hearing discourse, but I honestly don't remember enough to argue any points. Yeah, that's the Ruby casual view. It's like people obsess over certain things, but then you end up looking back on it and it's like,
They're called the J
what the fuck are you talking about?
Hey, that's perfect. I want you to take us all the way to the very top. We want to get some good photos for the magazine.
Oh?
That's kind of just my irritants with the toxic side of the fandom. You hyper-obsess over something that, if you pay attention to anything else in the story, it's not a big deal.
She went to the workshop nearby to get her orbital camera fixed. Don't know what's taken her so long, though.
If you're in such a rush, why don't we pick her up at the Orbital Factory? We're planning to head out immediately after, right?
I suppose you're right. All right, let's pick her up there and head straight for the tower.
Orion Gold, what doesn't help Neil's case regarding his age is the fact he smokes. Oh yeah, my stepmother, woman who married my father when I was like 20, but they cohabitated for like a decade and a half before that point. She looks so much older than she is simply because she was for a long time a pack-a-day smoker, despite her having 2 kids, who are my step-siblings. And while it didn't affect them negatively as of yet, it has taken forever to wean her off cigarettes. Especially because it reached the point where I couldn't be around her because the smoke was affecting my lungs. The secondhand smoke was affecting my lungs so badly. One of the reasons I have grievances with her, because she was negatively affecting my health for a long time.
Hey, Dorothy, how long are you gonna keep me waiting?
Also, why this is a smoker-free home. Like, that's just a health thing. Like, Alexis, if you and John had come in and either of you said you were smokers, I would have forced you to go on nicotine patches until you were off of them.
If I, if I ever did any of that stuff, that means I'm a replicant and you have the right to kick my butt.
Yeah, like, I think our generation are some of the best with regards to that, because it's usually older gens that are the consistent smokers these days. Not just because of, like, health and safety ads that ran like crazy during the 90s and early 2000s, but just because we don't have the fucking spare money for them.
Also, behold, a girl failure.
Please help me.
Oh no, it's the protagonist of Read or Die.
Don't tell me you wasted all your money and don't have enough for the camera.
How did you know?
Oh.
What?
HFIs, is it just me or does he look like the working man gym leader from Ruby?
Oh god.
Are you psychic?
Are you psychic?
This has happened. It'd be a shock if I didn't guess.
Sir, do you know this woman? I'm sorry, but could I ask you to pay the repair
Oh,
fee?
poor Larry.
Fine. I'll just expense it. How much?
The repairs for the camera and decorative clock will come to 2,000 Nira.
Wait, what? Camera I get, but what's this about a decorative clock?
Well, I was looking around the shop while waiting for the repairs to
Oh.
finish up, and I saw this pretty clock, but it broke when I picked it up. Thank goodness that can be expensed too.
Like hell it can. Damn it.
See,
Let's go
girl
straight into
failure.
your pocket.
Don't let her touch anything.
2,000
Oh no, she touched everything.
All right, and here's your.
She's the only reason why she's not fired is that apparently she takes really good photography shots.
Those two sure are an odd pair.
Brian and Kokuboshi, on the topic of Ruby, I know a way to stop Salem. She can't do much if you stop her from being able to think. Idea inspired by Rolo from Code Geass. Yeah, that's kind of the foundational idea behind Ruby's Silver Eye brimstoning powers. Like, I think the out for that is just they stone her and then she's just locked in there until they can get her off planet.
Taking the place of Cassius Bright.
Wow, they're so young. I'm Estelle. Nice to meet you.
But you know, I think a larger problem, just a bigger issue with just Ruby is the length it has been since the series started,
Dorothy Hyatt.
and
I'm a new photographer that just
not necessarily the progression of everything, but the delay between addressing any of the unaddressed
People on staff.
story
I have to
points.
get stuck with this dolt. Damn that editor-in-chief, and damn his stupid mustache, too.
Like the summer subplot, even though that allegedly wasn't supposed to be as big as it was supposed to be, or people being irritated that Sun wasn't a more major character when Sun was following his basis of Sun Wukong as being a character that comes in, helps a more major character, and then fucks off. Which he did already. It's like media literacy of the core reference of the character is just another of those things that's more a fandom-based issue than anything the series itself legitimately does wrong.
Let me handle your ordnance.
What do we need?
Still short. Oh,
Come again.
No. Neil, I'm never going to financially recover from this after Dorothy broke practically everything.
It's like, oh, woo! What does this clock do? Dorothy, no! Dorothy, yes!
Dorothy, I need you to start paying for your own expenses.
There are so many things to see in this town.
Because she'll stop breaking things if she has to pay for them.
Do it later. We're already behind schedule because of you.
I'm having a bad feeling about this.
Time to get moving.
So are these recurring side quest guys, or are they main party members?
They're recurring side characters. Your level is 5 or more higher than the enemy's damage dealt will increase by up to 2 times, making battle considerably easier. I can't warp fast travel. Oh well.
I see. So you are in need of a fast pass.
Do we have the Vichy Land fast pass system? No, really. In the Crossbow games, we experienced the glory of the mascot character Mishi.
Be careful, Estelle.
Yeah, I'm in so high level, like, at the moment, compared to everything else, so I'm just running for it. Run!
This mountain trail scenery is really pretty.
Nothing but wild all the way to the horizon. That's the boonies for you.
Did you have to say it like that?
There. He probably meant it as a compliment.
Flexitry. One solution I keep hearing after Volume 9 is sending Salem to the Ever After to ascend into the afterlife or gain a new life and finally start living. Considering Salem's big character flaw is she refuses to change, and that is what keeps the Curse of Immortality stained upon her and the source of all of her atrocities throughout the larger narrative. Honestly, the Ever After forcing her to change, or Ruby stoning her so she can get pay the consequence of her refusing to change, are both valid outs.
That thing sure is tall. How many floors are there? Well, we only went up to the 2nd floor the last time. But judging from the outside, I'd say 5 or 6 floors.
It should be 5. That's what it said in the materials. It was investigated a long time ago, but it's been abandoned since. Speaking of which, there are similar towers in other regions too.
That's right. Bose, Ruan, and Zeiss all have similar-looking towers. It's sad these things have been around since the founding of Liberal.
Oh, really? That's quite the romantic history.
Ancient towers that have just been sitting there since the founding of a kingdom and nobody knows what the heck their deal is?
Feelings just what we're here to capture.
Probably nothing.
Golengaro, there's almost always someone closely connected to the party that's involved with the media. I don't know if there is one for the Daybreak games.
There is, yes.
Got it!
Yeah, the thing that I've taken away is that the news media is full of weirdos.
That's some impressive concentration. She's like a different person when she's got a camera in her hands.
She's a professional, all right.
She fell asleep.
I came here to have a good time, yet I'm feeling so attacked right now. I don't know why I fall asleep at random during some streams.
Niall, that hurt.
It's so predictable at this point, it's not even cute. quit messing around and just get back to taking pictures like you normally do.
Guess I shouldn't try doing things I'm not used to, huh? Now then. Hey, that's a nice expression. Ooh, that's sexy. Cute, very cute.
Post from me, Tower. Oh, that's right. I'm loving it. I'm loving the work here.
What is she doing? She's not photographing a person.
And yet, it doesn't feel wrong.
She says she can see the expression of the environment. It sounds stupid, I know, but her photos are something else. She's basically a genius.
I guess you really can't judge a book by its cover.
Blackside tricking, also not to repeat a dead horse, but I'm glad some people do realize everything that's happened to Salem is also her own fault, not just the gods. Like, the brother gods in RWBY are complete and utter assholes, but the way the story depicts it is, it's not just that they were assholes irresponsible with their powers, but Salem was also being kind of a bitch. Like, yeah, she lost a person, but that's life.
Great job. You're looking cute.
All right, bracers, take us to the rooftop. And also, keep an eye on this idiot.
Sadly, no one in RWBY has the kick them into the sun method for dealing with an immortal. I mean, unless they can create a giant tower, Weiss and Witter can create an entire tower of accelerator glyphs through which RWBY can launch her into the sun from, or even to the fucking moon.
To the moon!
This chest looks good.
Gongar, I will never understand the conspiracy theory that Dorothy is the big bad.
No, wait, that's a conspiracy theory? That's idiotic.
Yeah. Plus, you know, Ruby, that's one of Ruby's foundational bases, so... She even has the dog. Or it's Summer's role, one or the other. You know how they are with the Wizard of Oz references. Like, I'm still in the conspiracy camp for the Ruby stuff that Summer Rose isn't dead and is actually the Summer Maiden. Help that the Ruby Beyond shorts right after the closure of Rooster Teeth implied that Summer is in Vacuo. And it's always been ambiguous, even in the Monty era, whether Summer was dead or not. They never have confirmed it one way or the other in anything.
I can't
It's
lose yet.
She's the Schrodinger's dead mom. Is she alive or is she dead? We do not know to this day.
Should she stay or should she go?
And I'm betting if they reveal it one way or the other, somebody is going to get angry. That is just the nature of the Ruby fandom.
No, it seems like a researcher from the Middle Ages built it for their research.
Which again, wouldn't be so bad if the series' development had not been delayed for so long for factors outside of their larger control. Like, if it had not been for Ice Queendom and the Justice League RWBY crossover films, it's likely they would have gotten to Volume 12 before Rooster Teeth shut down.
How's this?
So cute.
Rico Aries, apparently the theories of Dorothy being the Grandmaster says that her aloof and girl failure nature is a cover-up or something.
Okay, now, that conspiracy, as stupid as it is, it's not without basis because if you see somebody acting a little bit goofy and a little bit like, oh, look at me, I'm just being goofy, they're hiding something.
Yeah, the larger issue with that is, like, Dorothy is more the main character of the movie when all the Oz references in RWBY are based on the L. Frank Baum works, and the L. Frank Baum Oz novels are as diametrically different from the film as you can possibly fucking get. It's like, I don't mind the Wizard of Oz, the Oz books. I hate the Wizard of Oz movie. I read the Oz books so very long ago, and it's like, just because the movie is the pop culture icon, people don't realize it's a bad adaptation.
We're talking about Ruby still, or because we have a party member, like the side character's named Dorothy.
This. Yeah, sorry. Crossing of Streams.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what are you talking about?
We're talking about this, Dorothy, yes. Yeah, sorry. Crossing of Streams and plot stuff. Okay, yeah, I can kind of see it. I can kind of see that, Secret Grandmaster thing. Yeah, totally my mistake.
I'll take you down. Joshua.
Because, yes, there is also a conspiracy that the Dorothy equivalent in Ruby is a big bad. So that is where the line got crossed.
Let's get moving. How's this?
I have a VTO opportunity for tomorrow.
Here we go.
No. Like, my vision is shot, I can still work.
Ready at any time. Let us begin.
Here goes. Say cheese.
Earth Lance.
So let's get off the Ruby stuff. Since it's been a week or two, who's seen Steel Ball Run?
Thank goodness weekly releases are going to be a thing. Not sure what took them so long to get mentioned that, but at least they're not doing the stupid batch releases that that occurred during the Stone Ocean run.
Mm-hmm.
Superior numbers.
Joshua. Power. Let's go.
HFI is not me, I'm just not into JoJo. Which is fair, it's got a lot of body horror in it that it's not my style either. I can still admit it's a good series, though. It's just a subjective, this is not for me thing when it gets to those sorts of matters. Brian and Count Kubosha, I still need to watch the rest of JoJo's first. Rico Aries, sadly I haven't yet. I have too many shows to watch on my backlog along with rewatching some shows. Fair. The Steel Ball Run is one of those cases where, as Alexis can tell everybody, it's a reboot point and a new jumping on point where you don't need to know anything about prior stuff, at least initially.
They look tough, but we're tougher.
Golden Garo, I have, and I'm glad it'll be weekly, and I'm pissed that they moved it to the fall season. Yeah, a bunch of animation companies have been doing that as of late, and it gets frustrating because stuff that shouldn't have been delayed as long as they are getting those delays. Sometimes for quality control and animation consistency. In others, it's just, you didn't need to wait on this, and because you waited so long, it lost its potential.
Flare Arrow!
Oh no, she's channeling Lena Inverse as well.
I love that look.
I won't let you.
Payback time. Rope the defense. Let's speed it up.
Rico Aries. Oh yeah, I forgot that Part 7 is a reboot after Made in Heaven was used. I think that's the
No,
no.
that's a misconception. So, Made in Heaven rebooted that universe. The Steel Ball Run universe is just a completely different universe entirely that utilizes motifs and characters and tropes from the previous universe. You can read Part 7 as is and still be perfectly entertained, but if you've been a long-time JoJo fan, you can start seeing how Araki's remixing things.
Yeah, so it's a completely separate entity.
Yes.
Orango, while we're on topic of Ruby at the moment, what do you think of their inclusion in Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle? Well, that is certainly a game I have purchased but never have played much of.
I think it's hilarious.
The fact that Arc System Works just grabbed whatever IPs they could to mash together, and one of them they settled on was Ruby because of its popularity at the time, was just, it's funny.
I love that look. This is nothing.
HA Fights, we're just catching up on Brat Break, and I need to catch up on Invincible Season 4. We're not Invincible fans. We have heard positive things, especially with the ways it's remixing things to be more sensible than the comics due to Robert Kirkman's tendency to rush things. And this isn't just an us opinion, that's a problem he's been having with his current run on the Skybound Transformers comics.
I can beat these guys, it's just a matter of the turn order screwing me.
Brian and Kokuboshi, the Metal Card Box show went on a 6-week hiatus 6 weeks ago to fix production issues. How'd they forget to feature to texture model? Yeah, that's especially a problem with CGI's heavy series. I'm assuming Metal Card Box is a CGI heavy series. And it's becoming more and more an issue of animation studios just due to, I don't know, production crunch. The fact it's becoming such a big issue these days is astounding. Ryan Gold, there is also the fact that Ruby's creator Monty Ohm was a big BlazBlue fan. Penny, for example, takes some inspiration from BB's New 13, which I was not aware of because I am rather I'm Ruby casual, despite how much we've been commenting about it in recent streams. Though more in the context of the fandom be toxic, yo. Golengaro, my most anticipated anime of the year is Siren. I read the manga back in high school and I loved it.
Oh yeah, that was Siren's infamous because it got prematurely canceled. But for those who actually remember reading it, they were like, man, this should have had a proper. They should have had a better chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and okay, if it's a 16-volume series, they can probably adapt most of, if not all of it. Oh, so that's what Katsumi Ono and Shin Yoshida are doing right now for Satellite. So yeah, that has potential.
I won't let you.
So cute.
I won't let you.
Here goes. Say cheese. Let's go. Burn. Stuck.
Too slow. Let's go.
So what I'm from reading on the plot description, it's a supernatural detective series? Rather, not detective, investigation.
Something like that. Yeah.
Nice job, Joshua.
Oh, I just found a monk staff.
Golengaro, okay, I did not know those two were involved, and now I'm even more hyped now. Yeah, as I have always gone over in scripted videos, Shin Yoshida gets a bad rap for things that were never his cause, or he was responsible for, but people higher up in the production or things that were completely out of anyone's hands or just stuff people didn't put in context.
Sorry.
It's like people, again, people blame him for the shortcomings of a bunch of the Yu-Gi-Oh series when
Sure,
those
leave it to
weren't
me.
him, or there were things outside of his control and influence, or he didn't write what people hated in the first place.
Phew, that was
So yeah, hopefully the more he is disconnected from Yu-Gi-Oh, the more that can be more actively acknowledged or reevaluated. Just because of how much he was involved with those series for so long. Siren's one of the few manga that does timeline branching / time travel rather well. Hopefully. Speaking of Digimon Beat Break, I know you're not keeping up. Any chance you saw Geckomon's new perfect form? I have not. Okay, Geckomon. Scrolling down the wiki. Kekkomon.
Here goes.
Lizamon. Oh,
Yeah, that's his champion.
That looks really cool. And then Monarch Lizardmon.
That looks really sick.
It's a Metal Greymon variant, but it looks distinct enough that I can appreciate it. Oh, its helmet mask looks a bit like Guy Omon's. Like a predecessor form. In fact, if this is an alternate... If this is supposed to be a... Oh no, they already have a mega form for Geckomon. Or at least a potential one. A Tratusmon. Who has been released as a Digimon card already. So maybe it's an alternate mega form. Or maybe we'll see more details of it later. Because it kind of looks... The evolution line kind of looks like it's an alternate line for Guy Almon. And I really like Guy Almon. And reposition camera so I can show it to the chat.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah, I like that look.
The perfect move. Too late.
Hey, I love that look. Let's keep it up.
Alexis, the game did a thing.
What?
I said I like that look. Then the game said I like that look.
Stop doing that.
How? How did I do it this time?
I'm starting to think that you might be a wizard. Well, I mean, did you see that post I made the other night? Like, yesterday? Well, there's a character in Trails that looks like me if I was stuck in this series. Her name's Celeste. Look her up. Celeste, yeah. It's Celis.
SEC.
Lis.
Celeste Artesia.
Yeah, Celeste. Big sword, red hair.
I can see it. You need to grow your hair out more for it, but yeah, I totally see it. And she's a Daybreak 2 Horizon character. Alexis? She's voiced by Sarah Ann Williams and Fyro I.
Yep, Jolene Cujo, yes. Oh, by the way, her sword is a whip sword.
I was guessing that from the segmentation of the blade.
Yes. She works for the church. She has fire powers.
HJ5, without the Digimon Beat Break series is going, I expect Geckomon having at least one Dark Evolution before a true one. Probably why they were willing to reveal one of them in the card game.
Let's keep it up.
Orango, Jolene Kujo is voiced by Kira Buckland at Sarah Ann Williams. No, Fyro I is the Japanese voice actress for Jolene Kujo.
That's what we're saying.
That's why I said Sarah Ann Williams first, and then Fyro I.
All right, treasure time.
Rico Aries, Dest has unique powers on top of being Volcanismon.
Oh yeah.
I came here to have a good time, and I'm feeling so attacked right now.
You deny the charges? You deny that you're like Volcanismon?
I plead the fifth.
Digimon can't plead the fifth. They're not humans.
I don't have 6 arms.
Yet. Because if you did have 6 arms, you'd be able to get production done like 6 times as fast.
Would I, though?
Yeah, you'd probably just be, like, looking up anime figure, like, trying to get your, like, build all the model kits at once. Yeah, chat, I'm sorry to break it to you, but I've been living with a Volcanismon this whole time. I know it's crazy, but it's true. Just seeing if there was another pathway that they missed or something. Nope. Okay. I don't know what Digimon I'd be. Like, if only there was like a Lady Gallantmon. Actually, yeah, why?
I mean, technically, that's Lord Nightmon, when you think about it.
But I want the spear. I want to stab things.
Found treasure. This chest. Use caution.
They look tough, but we're tougher. Here goes. Say cheese.
Better be prepared. It flinched! Estelle!
So cute.
I won't let you! I see your move! I won't let you!
Balls of fluff.
Let's keep it up.
Rico Aries, on top of Digimon, what are your thoughts on Time Strategy getting more DLC later on, and what Digimon are you looking forward to being included? Considering how much I hate the game for ignoring who the actual villain of its narrative was, my only desire from the potential DLC pack they're making from scratch is we actually get to fucking fight homeostasis. That would fix so much of the fucking plot. If the DLC are going to be more based on anime crossover stuff, considering the DLC packs were better than the actual main story of the game, I'm not invested in it like others might be.
Let's go. Better be prepared. Flinched.
You're mine! Hey, I love that look!
I won't let you.
Distortion.
I won't let you.
Hey, I love that look! Now I'm mad! Full power!
Ron, I just hope they don't add another Omegamon variant. I think they're out of Omegamon variants for the moment. At the very least, with the DLC, they've been focused on Digimon that they've never really done before, not the ones they usually skip over. Like, if they want to do Legendary Warriors next time, just fill out more of the Spirit Digimon. Like, they have 7 others they can do.
Here goes! Say cheese!
Too slow.
How do you like that?
We're on a roll.
Ooh, that's a good accessory. I'm gonna eat some pasta.
Close one.
Very curious, I can see why Alexa's review on Time Street sounded like you guys didn't hate the game as much as the others. Yep.
It's like, I am more disappointed by Time Stranger because going in, I was very enthusiastic, I was very supportive, but then the game just kept doing things that it wasn't like just any one thing for me personally. It was the death of 1,000 cuts. It was the fact that it kept blaming the wrong thing. It kept doing the same narrative shticks. It kept like
It kept calling time travel bad by default, and yet the game is entirely around fixing the mistakes you had no other way to fix through time travel, and blaming the protagonist for not doing something when the game railroaded you to not be able to do that decision. So the writing was contradictory to what the game even allows you to do and see happen.
right. And so, wait, you're yelling at me, game, for doing a thing when you didn't even let me have the option to even. Like,
You're
okay,
chastising us, the player, for not doing a thing you weren't allowing us to do? No,
Right,
fuck
like-
you.
Like, if the game allowed us an option where we could actually do the right thing in the first place and not deal with the time travel, that's one thing. But
the game entirely builds its narrative around using time travel to fix faults in the narrative that are no one's actual faults beyond mistakes being made through manipulation. And then there's not even really a true manipulative force, it's just the larger circumstances that are spiraling out of control and then blaming it on the wrong people. Specifically, for example, Chronomon being scapegoated for everything because allegedly he's actually evil because, oh hey, his duties drove him insane and homeostasis wouldn't let him out of the job even though it was causing him to psychologically break and he couldn't handle it. And you would think stability of time would be something so essential that you shouldn't have someone that's being driven insane by the job you forced upon him and he can't get out of. Oh no, you need someone to take over for him or at least give him a fucking break.
we finally
Yeah, in everything homeostasis is used in, homeostasis is an asshole.
It's so bright.
You have been in the tower for a while.
We made it to the rooftop.
Wow, this view is incredible!
You got something in your eye there.
Look how high we are, though.
These photos might turn out even better than I thought. And this is what we came here for.
What is that? It looks
Orion Gold. Yeah, Chronomon is essentially an overworked employee. One who is having a psychological breakdown from overwork, and the game offers him no sympathy.
Research, it's some kind of
It also made even, and I favored the DLC. We favored the DLC of Time Stranger a bit better because Parallelmon.
Makes more sense as a villain for Time Stranger's entire narrative than Chronomon himself.
You know anything about this thing? Joshua?
There's no point in hiding. You might
Rico
as well
Aries,
show yourself.
homeostasis, like the thing in Digimon Trine? Yes, the thing that Digimon Tri retconned into existence because the writers of Tri had no actual understanding of the Digimon Adventure lore.
All right, I'm coming out. I'm coming out.
Who's this guy?
Did someone get here before us?
Wow, what a surprise! How did you know he was there, Joshua?
Golengaro, salt. Hey, we were making rice balls. They're supposed to be salty, not sweet.
So a weird guy with glasses on top of an ancient rooftop.
Sauce.
So, okay. Chat, from here forward, now that this guy's been introduced, if you played Sky before, don't say anything to anybody who's never played this game before in the chat. So no further spoilers.
Sauce.
Here's the thing. When I first played Sky, I knew this guy was sus, right? It's freaking obvious that he's sus, right?
It's a game from 2004 that has a eye-smiling glasses guy. That was a trope for a reason, even as much as what you've told me Trails games tend to subvert standard Japanese tropes.
Right.
You can't subvert them all.
The thing in my mind was, okay, I know he's sus. How is he sus? You know what I mean? So like the alarm bells are off. So I'm asking you, chat, for what will come later in this game, much later in the game's narrative. Don't say anything. It's just to make the people who's never played this game like have the impact hit even harder. You know.
I'll give you all my mirror.
HFIs, they probably use Kronos because Olympus 12. Yeah, because
Come on.
Roman/Greek gods to have the Kronos as the Titans. Yeah,
Can't you tell
that is
I'm
definitely a
Emblem?
thing you can validate through that. The problem is, it just doesn't work that way because of everything that ties around Chronomon's character, where he's only a malicious destroyer when he's infected by something, and it's not his own fault. So to blame Chronomon for everything defeats the entire purpose and point of why he has a holy mode and a destroy mode.
Please, don't scare me like that. And here I thought you might be some strange or suspicious people coming to a place like this.
You know, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you seem plenty suspicious yourself. Just who are you?
Apologies for not introducing myself sooner. I am an archaeologist who goes by the name of Alba.
Yeah, Professor Alba.
Sus. David Lodge. I've not heard him in anything in a while.
What did he do?
Jiraiya.
I've come to study the tower for my research on ancient civilizations.
Alone? I'm surprised you got
Yeah,
this
he's
far
usually in
without
stuff we
a
don't
friend.
watch.
Well,
He was the replacement voice actor for, Igor in Persona 5 onwards.
Ah.
I'm quite confident in my ability to run away from monsters. Though I very nearly did meet my end this time around.
Sounds pretty reckless.
But if you're an archaeologist, does that mean you know the history of this tower?
Not much more than the average person, I'm afraid. My research has only just begun, and I still have much to learn.
Well,
He also
that's
voices Kenpachi Zaraki. I'm running down the voice actor list.
something I might be able to put in an article.
Let's see. Are you all aware of the name Septarian?
Yes.
Oh, I think I heard that word from one of the priests before.
The 7 ancient
The
treasures
precursor
mankind
race, right?
received from the goddess Adios, right?
The 7 ancient treasures mankind. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly
Oh,
right.
sept as in 7.
Using these treasures, mankind came to rule the sea, land, and sky. Legends say they mastered even the secrets of time and life itself. But 1200 years
Orango, Lucian Dodge was also the voice for Amaray after Gundam stopped using Ocean Group for their English dubs. No, not Lucian Dodge, David Lodge. Lucian Dodge I know of, and he's a cool dude.
Yeah. But I love this lore of the Trail series that, like, 1,200 years ago, some unknown disaster just destroyed the previous civilization, and these 7 ancient super weapons just supposedly vanished.
Yeah. Okay, here's better accreditation that people might know. David Lodge, for 90s fans, he was Villamax in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, Puppetmon in the original Digimon Adventure, Lokai in Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, Azulongmon, Midnight Express and the combined form of Rail Racer from Transformers RID 2001, and 2 of the 3 mute orgs from Wild Force.
Legend claims that one of those lost septarians is located here in Liberal. It's called the Oriole.
Yeah, he goes back a while.
Oh, there it is. The Oriole.
The Oriole? That's a funny sounding name.
If the legends are true, then this tower, the oldest structure in Liberal, may hold some clue as to its location.
We get into what that is in the second one.
Fun.
And thus, here I am, investigating.
Whoa, what an amazing story!
It truly is, isn't it? One simply cannot overstate the beauty of this place's history. At long last, someone who understands.
So, have you found any clues?
Well, no, not yet, anyway.
Okay, that's funny. That is very funny.
What?
Doodlebug. Alba's Japanese VA, the new one at least, is Nobuo Tokita, who places the Japanese voice of Millhouse.
Oh!
He's the Millhouse.
That's Camille.
Yeah. Also the Major from Hellsing Ultimate.
Interesting story, but it's all just guesswork for now, yeah? I hate to say it, but I
Alright, in line, Alba. I didn't do anything! I don't care! Ah, my glasses!
Oh?
I can't be seen without my glasses!
To be so strict about what you print.
I can't put something like that in a news article. At Liberal News, we print gossip, not nonsense. Whatever.
Wow, a principled news organization.
Yeah.
Can we have those again?
Yeah, Niall, like, you will find that in the world of Zemuria, the news organizations take their shit seriously.
Dorothy, take a few shots of the sweeping scenery of Roland. As long as you get those shots, I don't care what else you get. I'll leave the rest to you.
Got it! I, Dorothy Height, will be taking lots of pictures.
Hey, Professor. Why don't you head
Al
back to town?
Protano voices Dorothy here.
These two may look like kids, but they're half-decent bodyguards.
That still doesn't sound like a compliment.
Ha! Well, if you don't mind me joining, I'd certainly appreciate it.
It's settled then. Let's take a little break until Dorothy finishes up with the pictures.
Voices Scanty and Panty and Stocking with garter belt. Mariel Alami and Daybreak.
Wow.
Oh, geez, another sassy reporter.
Of course.
You can see all
Marie
the roads
Anto in
from
Persona 5 Tactica.
With a view this good, I bet this place could make some serious money as a tourist trap.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
Virtuosa in Arc Knights.
What's wrong? You look kind of down.
I can't get anything past you, can I? Ever since we got to the roof, I haven't been feeling well.
It looks like she's a newer voice actor, debuted in 2014 as supporting characters in the game
Get
Smite.
some more fresh air. You should take this opportunity
And
to
extra
look
background
around.
voices.
Go on. Take this as an opportunity to expand your horizons. That's what a bracer would do.
Theodosia
If you do find
Callister,
anything
aka
interesting,
Tiger.
can you tell me about it
I
later?
don't recognize that one.
You sure know how to talk me into something. All right, I'll take a look around. But tell me if you start to feel worse, okay?
Of course.
Oh, Estelle! This place is so beautiful, don't you think? I'm starting to worry I didn't bring enough exposure quartz. It's a paper-thin quartz that's been made by processing septium. By exposing it to light, you can take pictures with it.
So yeah, they basically managed to find a way to create cameras using the whole septium technology.
Okay, yeah, that is perfect casting for... I'm assuming that's Alba's old voice actor, who was in Japanese, which was Hideyuki Tanaka, aka Don Flamingo from One Piece,
Yeah, no, that is perfect casting.
Satan from Xenogears, and Jin Uzuki from Xenosaga. Which, considering I consider Jin to be an absolute asshole, it actually makes sense for Satan and
Is that so?
share a voice actor.
Boy standing in the wind. That'd make a great picture. Think you'd let me snap a few pics? What a shame. Guess Joshua's a real shy boy, huh?
Oh, it's just a funny glasses man doing research. You're totally not super suspect.
Neil Burns in this is
Oh,
Michael
you know
Schneider,
Estelle, yes?
current voice actor for Terry Bogard.
Is that so? Well, it's true.
He's also a newer
The
voice
weather is
actor.
rather refreshing. It's very impressive to find bracers as young as you two. I was under the impression that you needed to be at least 16.
Do they just look young for their age?
Yeah.
What a truly wonderful thing it is to be young. The world is still filled with endless possibilities. Were I 10 years younger, I'd have solved the mysteries of every ancient ruin of the entire continent myself.
A bit conceited.
That's correct. I was born in the north. Oh, but I'm not from Erebonia, mind you. Did you perhaps lose someone dear?
Yeah, so she lost her mom during a raid from the Empire.
I'm terribly sorry. It wasn't my place to ask. I see. That boy from earlier.
Commence the sussening.
I know, right? Like,
Company, as they say.
it's like, what I love about it is that his design raises alarm bells, but you can't figure out what it is, you know? All you know is danger.
It's not just the eye smiling, it's the eye smiling with the glasses.
Yeah. And the slick back hair, right?
The smokes up here are nice. Not
I mean,
gonna
some
lie,
people don't
I
slick
wasn't
back the
too
hair
worried about
until
being
they go
a
evil.
story out here
Like
in the
Eisen.
boonies, but
Which means...
maybe this isn't so bad. Every once in a while.
Golgar, 16 is the minimum age to join the guild. Yes, I'm saying that.
Ditzy girl after
That was my point. It's like, people keep getting surprised at their age and then being guild members. Do they just look younger than 16?
Well, I think it's also because, just because 16 is the minimum age, that doesn't mean a lot of bracers join at that age, you know? That's like you turning, like, you know, you're finally sweet 16 and you kick down the recruitment door and it's like, sign me up.
It's true. I do gossip pieces now and again, but I mostly do news reports. And I got a hunch something big's going on in Bose.
And gossip pieces are fine if it's like local news and spotlight stories and whatnot.
They've yet to catch who did it, but whoever it is, they've got serious mobility. Sure looks that way. On the other hand,
Are we
could all
going
be a
to
diversion.
recruit and
The
befriend
Erebonia-
Sky Pirates?
Down until the third game.
It's true. The Empire took quite a bruising in the war 10 years back, and with other nations watching them so closely, they can't afford to do anything overt. Still, this might be some form of harassment. The truth is always hidden in shadow. It's our job as reporters to bring it into the light.
Wow, that's actually sounds something a reporter should say.
Joshua, are you feeling better?
Yes, much better now. I think I can keep going.
Thank goodness. Did you figure out what was making you feel sick? If it was because of a lack of oxygen in the tower, the rest of us would have gotten sick too. Maybe a sudden fear of heights?
I don't think that's it.
Estelle! Joshua!
Uncomfortable with the train of conversation.
Are you done with your photographs, Dorothy?
Sure am. I took so many pictures.
Look at this photograph. Every time it makes me laugh.
Oh god, sorry, Edit Dorothy doing that. Look at this photograph.
I'm counting on you rookies to get us back.
As am I.
Look, all of us will just turn the other way and assume it all went to plan. What?
Truly, you have my thanks. It's the first time I've been able to return from ruin exploration in such a leisurely fashion. Estelle and Joshua, I don't know how to thank you.
Not at all.
I mean, that is a big sus point. How do you get to the top of the tower unless he was already strong?
Exactly. It's like, I love it when you can introduce a character that raises so many alarm bells. Not by anything, not just by what they're saying, but like where they are, like, and
Immediately invocable fridge logic.
Right. And that's by design, you know?
Mm-hmm. Like, the characters don't know any better because they're new to this and naive because they're teenagers, but anyone experienced with JRPGs or just anime telling tropes in general is already having the red flags flare.
Right. In fact, if there was a more experienced bracer around, they would have been like, hold up, you know?
So again, they made a mistake about this. It's a logical mistake. It's not on them. It's not bad writing.
Exactly.
I told you we
It goes back to that. Every time when the characters make a mistake or don't realize they made an error, it's not because the writing bent over backwards to make them stupid. It's just they're learning and growing, you know?
Still immature brats compared to the bracers I know. But keep at it.
I'll keep that in mind.
By the way, are you two planning to return to your office already?
Yeah, it's like this. You can't condemn someone for mistakes made out of innocence or ignorance or not having used essential need to know information. To do that and to not hold others accountable to that is a double standard.
See you later, Estelle and Joshua.
RF Zone. Professor Alba is Zelos sus. Okay, that is a perfect analogy. Because it's clear he's fucking with them.
Yeah, you're right. I think I have a better idea about what it means to be a bracer. It really isn't all fighting after all.
There you go again, acting all mature. But I think you've got a point.
We still have a long road ahead of us. Should we head back to the guild and report?
Yeah, let's do that. By the way, how are you feeling? You're not still sick, I hope.
Oh, right. No, I'm feeling much better now. I wonder what the article will be like.
We should buy the next issue of Liberal News. Let's see how good he is.
Yeah, this game is really a coming-of-age story. And hey, Charizard!
Oh, it's Estelle and Joshua.
Huh? Shara?
Rare to see you here. You're usually out and about.
I just finished up the last of your father's jobs. I actually just turned in the report.
Oh, so you're all done too?
Sure am. I heard from Aina that you two have been working awfully hard. Looks like all the effort I put into training you two was worth it.
Thank you for that.
She literally whipped him into shape.
Now then, we should probably file our report too, huh?
Yes, please go ahead.
Good work. How about it, Charizard? How do you think they did?
Not bad for rookies. But don't be satisfied with that. Especially you, Estelle. You let even the smallest compliment go to your head.
Yeah, I know.
Good work, all of you. I never thought all the work Cassius left behind could be completed so quickly. I think I might be able to even relax a little bit now.
Well, that's kind of anticlimactic.
There's still plenty of smaller jobs, like patrolling roads and hunting monsters.
Looks like I finally get a chance to relax. That settles it. I'm hitting the bar tonight.
Yeah, she has a chance to relax because she's not having to constantly re-educate Estelle.
Yeah, and so she's hitting the bar.
Of course, she'd be the blush.
Estelle and Joshua, you'll be keeping me company.
What? Do we really have to put up with drunk Shara today?
Estelle, don't tell me you intend to refuse my kind invitation. That's rather bold of you.
But you're such a pain to deal with when you get drunk. You start yelling, dancing, stripping.
That's true. I always have to look away.
Charizard, just what are you doing to these kids?
Oh, come on. A little booze never hurt anybody.
We don't want to see what three-drink Shara looks like.
I'm amused by Michelle Ruff being the lush for once.
Yes.
You don't have to, Estelle. Really? But in return, Joshua's going to have to be extra good company tonight.
What? Shira.
Hey!
That's fine, Joshua.
For a fact, Joshua can be a little shy about these things, whether it's booze or other things. Don't worry, I'll teach you all you need to know.
Other things?
Run, Josh! Run!
Seriously, Josh?
Okay, the only way they could have made this more funny if they had gotten Rankiku's English voice actress.
Yeah, seriously, Josh, but don't tell me you're that easily
That's not
seduced.
what it looks like.
There's trouble.
Otherwise, this is perfect casting.
I know, right?
Huh? Mayor Klaus?
Mayor Santa Claus, what's going on?
Estelle, Joshua. Oh, Charizard's here too.
Saved by the mayor.
Ron, someone needs an adult.
You look rather
She
flushed.
is an adult.
It's terrible. While I was house, my house was robbed.
What?
Rico Aries, run, Joshua! Don't pull a Reen!
Estelle's like, what?
Mayor Klaus, let's just calm down first. Deep breaths. In, out. In, out.
Right. In. Out. In.
Okay, Orion Gold. Yet another Johnny on Bosch voice protagonist rizzed by an older woman unwittingly. He's a man whore! He's a filthy man whore!
Joshua, stop unintentionally attracting the ladies of the liberal kingdom. Save some for the rest of us, alright?
Burglars broke into my house while I was away.
What?
Seriously, Johnny on Bosch plays a lot of characters that become have the potential to become an unwanted harem protagonist.
Sounds serious.
Few rarely ever commit to
With the
that.
priest, so I left the house and went to go meet him at the church. When I got home, nobody came to greet me, and I found the place ransacked.
Hold on. What about Ms. Mylene and the maid?
They're safe. They were just locked up in the attic.
Ugh, thank...
At least we can be grateful that nobody got hurt. Still, we're not going to learn anything by standing around chatting here. Mind if we take a look at the crime scene?
Yes, please do.
Wait, we're going
Rick
to...
Zeef
Right, we might be able to
is
help.
voicing the mayor.
Very well.
I have never heard of this guy.
We're going to investigate the scene of the crime. If any trouble comes up, have Ridge handle it. He's probably bumming around down at the tavern.
Understood.
I mean, he's been in stuff we've
Please be
watched,
careful,
just
everyone.
not in major roles.
Yeesh.
Oh,
Really
Shinsuke
turned everything
Amagi.
upside down, didn't they?
Oh no! The safe!
The septium meant as a gift for Her Majesty has been stolen. My apologies. After all you went through to deliver it here.
You don't have to apologize. The people who stole it are the ones at fault. By the way, how did the other rooms look?
The other rooms were hardly touched, though the attic, where my wife and Rita were forced into, is a bit jumbled up.
Estelle, Joshua, I want you to do something for me.
What?
I'm going to ask the mayor for more details, but in the meantime, I want you two to do a search of the manor, top to
So
bottom.
this is another thing Bracers wind up doing.
You want us to do a crime scene?
Criminal investigations.
Yeah, not like full-on police work, but, you know, when incidents like this occur, it, like, this is where you start developing that, you know, sixth sense awareness of things.
Secure the area for the actual investigators.
Yeah, and considering that this little small town doesn't really have any cops to speak of.
All right.
Bracers take over the jobs.
Yep.
Prudent and thorough.
I mean, it's a small enough town, you don't really need much in the way of a police
You can
force.
tell me more
Yep.
about what happened in the reception room.
Where do I even start?
A crime scene investigation. This is really exciting.
Estelle, get a pair of sunglasses to get the wittiest pun you can think of. Looks like Estelle Bright has a real stick-to-it attitude.
Let's start with this room. We should get testimony from everyone who was in the manor at the time of the crime as well.
Got it.
No, Alexis. Let's illuminate the culprits.
Yeah!
Okay, so they were after the crystal. But you only have 16 combinations.
With the more power that was on his fingers, the less that would be picked up with each button you push.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, Josh was a smart cookie.
It's like, that's not even something brought up in other shows that have number pads being hacked. Yeah, it's still...
What?
I get the idea that she's more the person who sees things, like, can see oddities, and not really deduce like Joshua can. So, you know, like...
Yeah.
They're each the other's missing brain cell.
Exactly. It's just... They complement each other so perfectly, it's just... I love seeing them interact. It's when they're together, there is nothing that can really stop them.
Well, that's an interesting way to set up an attic. Like, they just need to clean it up a bit more, put a door in front of the stairwell, and that's a private bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, put a wall in right there, you're good.
Yeah. Mayor's wife. All right, we've gathered the evidence. Let's discuss this.
Yeah, so I'm getting the cut on the railing is someone rappelling up to the upper level.
First, what were the criminals?
Because the angle is kind of wrong for someone to be jumping off there.
So yeah, I have a guide pulled up that lets me inform the answers. But this is like one of those parts of the game where if you answer all these questions correctly, you get more bracer points to go towards your overall score.
So free points instead of just the missions.
Yes.
Makes sense to me.
How many criminals were there? How did they enter? What do we know about the people who did this? A solid investigation. I think that narrows down who it could have been. Mayor Klaus, have you allowed anyone new into your study in the last 2 or 3 days?
Yes, there were a few people, I believe. The people from Liberal News.
Oh, those two visited you too?
At the time of the crime, they were with us at the Jade Tower. I think we can count them out as suspects.
I see. Was there anyone else?
Aside from that, only Josette. But that would be impossible.
Yeah, there's no way she could be the culprit. She's a
Sus.
student at the Royal Academy.
Criminals do their best to hide who they really are. If one were so inclined, I can't imagine it would be very hard to make a fake uniform.
But she was so nice, so friendly and ladylike. Right, Joshua?
I can't say I agree.
What?
When the mayor placed the septium into the safe, she looked like a hunter scouting her prey. Of course, I had no reason to suspect her of anything at the time, but she didn't strike me as just some ordinary student.
No way!
I don't believe it.
Either way, we've got to talk with that girl.
You must admit this would be impossible to fake.
I think she's staying at the hotel, but she also said she's leaving Roland today.
Then we better hurry. Estelle, Joshua, let's start with the hotel.
Yeah.
Understood.
The fact that she fingered the right suspect, but her own empathy towards others kind of just like blinding her to it, which is definitely a youth thing. Because it's better to just check to dismiss and look in other ways than just write it off.
Legal physics.
Of course. To be fair, she also did play Yoko.
Yeah.
And Fujiko in a lot of stuff.
What, Michelle Ruff playing a big busty lady? Like,
Uh-huh. I'm looking forward to this.
yeah, it's like Estelle's level of empathy towards others is like so admirable about her. Like, she's not like naive about it per se. It's like, you know, dumb naive. It's just she just really cares. Also, look at that mustache.
Yeah, again, empathy is not a character flaw. What it is when it's used to make someone... How should I phrase this? When they do it in circumstances where they shouldn't.
And trust me, when there are evildoers afoot, Estelle will beat the snot out of them.
Yeah, like letting people get away with murder.
Right, no, she would never do that.
Yeah. It's like there has to be a I can't forgive you just because I recognize who you are as a person kind of stuff.
It's a case of she needs, if the more facts she has about a person and like what they did and like why they do what they do,
The better she can just judge them.
right, and then determine like what the best course of action is. Because yeah, I mean, you could go around beating everybody with a stick, but that doesn't mean it's the right, thing to do.
Because it's not a bad thing to assume people are trying to be a good person when you have no knowledge of them. It's not naive, that's just being a good person. It's just personal experiences that can just waver on that.
Yeah, and I think we get into it in chapter 1, but like it is explore like why Estella is like the way she, like how did she get to this mental state.
Mm-hmm. It's always just doing it when you shouldn't that becomes the stopgap for that. There is a thing as too much empathy.
Also, I love how as we got another party member, like the loading sprites changed.
Yeah, it's a good detail.
How am I not supposed to rush with all this stuff going on? Oh, damn. Maybe I really should cut down on the smokes.
What are you two doing?
Oh, it's you. We're actually on our way to Bose.
But the airship hasn't arrived yet.
Yeah, I know. That's right, we're taking the highway. It might take a while, but it's not so far that you can't get there on foot.
Sounds rough. Going after another scoop, huh?
Yeah, a big one, too. And I can't afford to just sit around here and wait. I need to get there today.
I hope Niall will be alright. Oh well. See you later, Estelle and Joshua.
Oh well.
Bye!
Quite the odd couple. Do you two know them?
They're the magazine reporters we acted as bodyguards for. I wonder what's going on.
Yep.
Let's go.
We're still a long way from Mistwald. Let's hurry.
Right. We have to get there before they run away.
Oh, and since we finally have access to a new party member,
Combat strategies change.
Come at me.
she's got whips.
And distance.
I'll be your opponent.
I just had to show this off. Sadist whip.
Do as I say.
Oh, the noblewoman laugh.
I know, isn't it great?
It's over. On to the next.
And it's like having the ability to play as these characters and have access to their different weapons and abilities is just like, oh, I love it. And wait until we get a party member with a gun, so you can just stand in a distance and just bit people, you know?
She holds that whip in that punishment teacher pose.
Oh yeah, she has very whip me mommy energy.
She whipped them into shape.
Yes.
Crack that whip. You've got to whip it. Whip it good.
Means business. I'm game.
I won't let you.
You got guts.
Brandon Kokuboshi, the Plutia PTSD is real.
Let's go. Here we go. There.
Leave it to me. Better be prepared. Let's keep going.
Sure!
Now, Shara.
Arcana of the Goddess!
Okay, Hyperdimension Neptune, Plutia, the character, uses a whip. Okay, that explains it.
Let's go. Follow my lead.
Yes!
Rico. Oh hey, it's that monster from the Nord Highlands. How'd it get to Liberl?
Because there's a monster in Cold Sea that looks like this.
Yeah. It looks similar to another monster I've seen from somewhere that kind of has the same kind of armor scale pattern, but I can't place it.
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Morality, turn, turn, turn. Show us the lesson that we should learn.
Yeah, Shara's other thing is the tarot cards.
Yeah, I remember.
Thanks, Estelle.
Plus, she has the whole Romani look to her, which makes that fit.
Mhm.
Romani fortune teller was a thing.
Gonna head back in to turn that quest in real quick.
Yeah. Doodlebug, when you pick Yuka Ayase as your 5th member in the Sebek route because she got a whip. Megami Tensei?
Yeah, I
I have high expectations for you.
don't think I
guys.
ever got played that one.
Yeah, that's from the original Shin Megami Tensei Persona.
Okay.
You know, the ones that are ridiculously hard to find of all the Persona games, so fewer people have played them. Probably need a remake next.
Or at least a re-release.
Or a re-release. They were making a joke. Yeah, we just weren't catching it.
Sorry, I wasn't good at catching things as a kid. I
And
caught colds.
Yeah, and plus, the first 2 Persona games didn't have exactly the same push. Like I said, much earlier in the stream when I was commenting on Atlas not retaining the original Persona 4 voice actors, it really was not until Persona 4 that Persona caught on as a franchise.
Watch for ranged attacks.
And a lot of that was because of the voice actors that were in it. HFI is probably more reserving of a remake than Persona 4. Yeah, probably.
Like, I'm still skeptical on a Persona 4 remake. They would have to, like, really pull out the stops on that one to, justify it to people. Because Persona 4 Golden is, like, still perfectly good as it is, so...
Mm-hmm. And the biggest issues with it are just people who are media illiterate and didn't understand it and assumed things that are in no way true about it. They bought into the in-game propaganda about characters and not what they themselves said or explored about themselves.
From here on, we're in Miss.
What do you think, Shara?
No mistake about it. Multiple people have recently passed through here.
Doodlebug, Persona 1 and 2 becoming like Invader Zim where they will make merchandise but won't revive it.
As we head through the forest,
Yeah.
be sure to stay quiet.
Roger.
Understood.
Like, Nickelodeon's execs are like that, where they greenlight something that becomes popular, and then because it's not to their specific taste, they kind of just throw it against a wall. They threw it on the ground.
I threw it on the ground.
These are the actions of an adult.
Hone your bracer senses. We're definitely going to find you.
I'll take you all down.
He's got lightning. Here.
Ryan Gold, the only unsurprising thing about a P4 remake is the possibility of Naoto getting yet another VA replacement. Girl can't get a consistent English VA to save her life. Most of her portrayal has been by Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, though. Like, as far as I knew, she only got Naoto's voice actress only got replaced once. Or were there replacements on the Japanese side as well that I am completely blanking on?
I'll get you all.
Don't let your guard down.
This one's on me.
Gotcha!
Lightning.
Let's go.
I will. Yes, with Queen. I do not question the fact that you shoot lightning out of your magic watch thing.
Orion Gold, Naoto got another English replacement in Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. Okay, I was not aware of that because I have not played Cross Tag Battle.
Here I come. Blades.
Doodlebug for Anna Graves in Persona 4 Vanilla, Golden, and Arena, Mary McGlynn in the anime, and Valerie Arem for Ultimax, Persona Q, and DNA. That's inaccurate. Mary McGlynn voiced Naoto in Golden, and I think Arena.
Yeah, she did.
I've never played Ultimax Q or DAN.
Phew, that was close.
Too simple.
Well done, Shara.
Okay, each of the hits sounds like the pulse pistol sound effect from Halo. You hear it?
A little bit, yeah.
Too simple.
This guy means business. Hot game. All right, shut it down.
On your knees. Follow my lead. You'll regret this. Prepare yourself. Sylphin whip.
Doodlebug for Maria's Miss Kashiwagi. She also voiced Miss Kashiwagi.
Feeling good.
You recall Naoto still sounding like Anna in the Golden content. She wasn't.
Healing.
Thanks.
Let's go.
Orion Gold, you think the Trails series should have a Muso spin-off? They
Um,
have a fighting game spin-off series crossed over with the Yeast series. I'm not sure how that plays, but
it's an arena fighter.
yeah, okay. So
But,
I mean,
like,
that's different
I
than
would-
Muso, but I could kind of see it.
I would absolutely love for the Trail series to get like its own like 2D fighter. Like I could just imagining these characters in an Arc Systems type game or whatever that could go nuts.
Close one.
Let's go. Let us begin.
Just put my girl Estelle in Smash. She'll solve everything.
My turn. There! Let's go! Stun!
This one's on me! Here I come!
It's not enough.
Yeah, prepare yourself! Yeah. Now we're talking!
Hey, Alexis, just as a heads up, it's 4:15.
Yeah, I see that.
Now I'm mad! Let's get this done!
Do as I have finished!
You're mine!
Gotcha!
Let's go! Joshua, do it!
How pitiful!
Payback time! Now I'm mad! Broke the defense!
You're mine!
How do you like that?
Thanks, Estelle!
Stubborn pasta. Why is it so stubborn?
Because it refuses to be eaten.
Brace yourself.
You know that annoying sensation when you're trying to eat some noodles and they just refuse to be on your fork?
Oh, when they're too slippery.
Yes, that is the stubborn pasta.
Okay, that means there wasn't enough salt in the water. You know, you add a pinch of salt, depending on the volume. They're, not baked, cooked in.
Alright, treasure time!
Rheingold, prepare for a difficulty curve for what's next. Yeah, we're probably gonna have to stop pretty soon, just so Alexis has the freedom to be openly grinding up a bit in the game before our next stream.
Well, guess we have to turn back.
Ugh. And we just gotta turn over every stone.
Alright, I'm gonna, like, save the game, actually, and just call the stream early. Because we're gonna come across a prologue chapter boss, and that usually follows, like, a bunch of cutscenes.
Fair, and if that's gonna be a long stretch and you have your appointment, it's best to stop now this time.
Right.
Like, we can go a bit longer next time,
Yeah.
considering we won't have any complications next week on the 17th like we would the week after, potentially.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we're gonna call it there for this time. We will see everybody next week. We shouldn't have any problems. I will try and remember to list the stream earlier this time, considering I didn't get to it until past midnight earlier this morning. Sorry about that. We will see you guys then.
Yep.
Later.
Later.